everybody, and welcome back to Encounter Roleplay. I have frozen on the screen, and my name is Will. I'm a D&D sex icon, and they're reinstalling internet in my thingy today, whatever it is I live in, the cardboard box in which I exist. No, but we're back today for another episode of World Tree Burn, so let's go around the cast and crew, remind ourselves of who we are, and of course, who we're playing. Let's start with Dan Dillon, our Dungeon Master for tonight. Dan, how's it going?
It's going really well. You're tired. My brain is running on empty because of a convention this weekend, which was amazing, but I'm still happy, and this is going to be great. So, yeah, I'm Dan Dillon. I'll be your Dungeon Master for this romp through Midgard, and I'm excited to jump back into it.
Fantastic stuff. And, of course, we have Squall back with us tonight. Squall, how's it going, my friend?
Pretty good. Don't know how I've been here so long, but apparently I've been here for a little while.
No, it's a while.
You know, they always call me the old man of Encounter Roleplay. It's just, it's for real now. But I'm here playing Glasoshin. Where are my glasses? I like the old man. I cannot find my glasses. Has anyone seen my glasses? I am Glasoshin. I am a Trollkin, and I am a geomancer. And I've lost my glasses.
They're on the bottom shelf, because that's where I put them.
This is why I put things up high.
Oh dear, great stuff. Awesome. Of course, we have Scarlet Mock back with us today. Scarlet, how's it going?
Hello, I'm very well. I'm Scarlet Moth. You may know me as an internet shitposter, also sometimes an artist and cosplayer, and D&D person. Hi, I'm playing Rowan, the Ravenfolk cleric, who likes to be weird. She carries bones and eats raw meat, so...
It's a whole thing. Mm-hmm. It's just a whole thing. Amazing. Well, speaking of weird, we've got McCloakin with us. Hey, got him. How's it going?
I'm not going to refute that argument. I'm fucking weird. Hi, everyone. I'm McCloakin. I used to have a shirt when I was growing up, and it said, "Let's get weird" on it from, what was that one show? Workaholics, because they were going to go to hedonism for Thanksgiving, and they just chanted "Let's get weird" all the time, and that's my motto. Hi, today I'll be playing the lovable clerk ranger who lies. That doesn't lie. I don't lie.
You said totally Gnome, the lovable cloak ranger, which is the best.
Yeah. I'm a crazy person, but hey, I'm excited to play today. We get to meet Riordan, and I don't know how well that's gonna go.
I have an idea. It's not
Drugs.
so good.
Boy, here we go.
Yeah. Well, of course, we have Simply Jackson back with us tonight. Simply, how's it going?
Hi, I'm Simply Jackson. I'm a variety broadcaster on Twitch. I am playing Tilly Ashbreaker, our dwarf fighter, who is kind of just rolling with the way that Rowan wants to go. I also had a t-shirt growing up, but it said "I really love the Backstreet Boys," which is my life motto. So that's what we have in common, McLogan. Just kidding. Anyways, I'm glad to be here. I have a sinus infection, so if I'm a little bit coughy and wheezy, I'm sorry to the recording that's going on. Just letting you know ahead of time.
We will see if we can find it within our hearts to forgive you. Well, we make no promises. Of course, I will be back today as Riordan, the Dampier cleric. Riordan is a drug addict. He's going through some shit right now. And luckily for him, it's not like the fate of the universe hinges upon his sobriety. So, yeah, not worried about it. Not going to worry about it.
Everything will be fine. Everything's fine.
It's all good. Welcome to the We're Just Having Fun crew. Well, of course, before we get into today's game, I'll remind you guys of a couple of things. The first of which is we're sponsored here today by Kobold Press. Go ahead and check those guys out over on koboldpress.com. We're playing in the world of Midgard. Encourage you guys to check out their own books in print PDF over on their site. It's some good shit, my friends. You're going to want it after you watch this show. And of course, if you didn't know, we're sponsored today by FancyGrounds.com, our virtual tabletop of choice. Go check those guys out. WhalenGames.co.uk for board games, war games, minis, and more. And TabletopLoot.com for all of your dice needs at the end of tonight's show. They'll give away a set of dice to you guys. Here is the tweet. 20 retweets, you guys get to decide something that happens next in our campaign. The last game that we just did here on the channel, there was some kind of goat ritual that you guys decided upon. And of course, you can donate to affect the game as well by giving players nat 1s, nat 20s, wild magic surges, and worse. But I will hand over to our esteemed Dungeon Master, Dan Dillon, to remind us what happened last week on the show and to take us into tonight's episode of The World Tree Burns.
All right. Buckle up, everyone. I have a feeling this is going to be an interesting episode. All right. Where were we last time? I believe we last left with our newest heroes arriving for the first time in Zobek. Tilly and Rowan made their way from the northern reaches of the Wolfmark, a peninsula far to the north beyond the Blood Kingdom, and they arrived at the docks of Zobek. They had a brief run-in with some strange gnomes known as the Blue Barbers of Wharf Street, who had heard of Riordan and gave them some idea of how they could find him. They had an interlude at the Arcane Collegium with Glaz and Cloak, which was interesting and disjointed, and from there they went searching for just a little bit of this and that, some information and anyone who might be able to help them with all of these mysteries that are piling up, since Riordan had been conspicuously unavailable and they hadn't been able to track him down. He was probably passed out in a gutter somewhere. Following up on a lead that Glaz received from a fellow student at the Collegium, they went to a curiosity shop called the Black Lotus and met an enigmatic and just obsequiously helpful individual known only as the Painted Man, who gave them some information on those strange sheets of brass covered in arcane secrets and void magic that they recovered from Castle Shadowcrag. And they learned that those are 2 out of many pages from a magical codex called the Nullifier's Lexicon, which apparently contains a great deal of knowledge of void magic, and if one is willing to risk attuning to the item, immense power. And unless I miss my guess, that's right about where we left off. So we'll pick up. Well, you guys were on your way to the Silk Scabbard, if that is correct. You guys, that right, guys?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right.
That's
right. So you guys were in sort of the lower reaches of Zobek, in the Ash Mill or Lower Zobek region. So it's not actually all that far from where the Silk Scabbard lies. You get yourselves onto one of the main heavily cobbled thoroughfares, very heavily trafficked as well. I'd say that you guys at this point are probably reaching into mid-afternoon, and you're making your way across the city, and you can hear commerce sort of echoing to you from the wide avenues and echoing down the alleyways from the marketplaces to your west. And as you travel along, you can see, those of you who are familiar with it, see the 2-story building that is the Silk Scabbard. Tilly and Rowan, you seem to be being led, I think, by Cloak, perhaps Cloak and Glaz, toward this very nondescript timber and plaster exterior building. 2 stories. It looks like it has windows, but there are heavy shutters or thick curtains on the inside of the window panes. And there's just one plain-looking door facing across the street, looking at this very tight cluster of packed buildings to the right side of the street. It looks almost like a different town sort of grew at the edge of the city of Zobek, or perhaps Zobek grew around it. It's hard to say. There is actually a gate sectioning off this little bit of the city, and it looks like from here that the buildings actually, their eaves touch over their narrow streets. So it must be sort of dark and shadowy and maybe a little gloomy in there. It's very strange looking. But Glaz and Cloak pay it no mind, and they bring you across the plaza toward this nondescript building.
I feel like from what I've heard about this innkeeper, she's probably got something good on the grill or in the oven. And I imagine Tilly can smell it as we get close.
Different spot. You're
okay.
thinking of our house.
Yeah, you are.
Fog brain.
You are unfortunately thinking of Glaz and Cloak's landlady.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, in fact, as you approach...
So,
sorry,
you can smell a different type of meal.
Smell something different. We'll go with that. So as you guys approach, you can hear what sounds like some music, sort of very faintly issuing through the wooden door, and just kind of this murmuring din of voices, if you can imagine what a semi-crowded bar sounds like through a door or two. You guys open up the main door to the street and step into what is essentially a very small foyer or entryway. It's a little crowded with all of you pushed in there. You see another door across the way. This one appears to be made of iron. And to your left, there's a window that is like a small window that is shuttered or closed. You're not sure what's going on there. It looks maybe like a ticketing window at a theater. So perhaps they use it when there are sort of large events taking place. Glaz leads the way up to the iron door, bangs on it twice, and a little viewport slides open, and you can see some sort of roomy blue eyes glance around. They seem to narrow just with a little bit of recognition at Glaz. The man behind the door nods, closes the viewport, and a second later you can hear a clanking and ratcheting of clockwork mechanisms, and the door slides open. Shunk. The sounds of the bar just sort of roll into the foyer as the door opens and Glaz and Cloak lead the way inside. There is a beefy individual seated on a worn but somehow still comfortable looking stool next to the door itself. His biceps have biceps. His hair is sort of close cropped on the sides and then pulled into a short ponytail at sort of the top and back. He's got scars on his face and sort of bronzed skin, and he nods knowingly to the two who lead you inside. And he gives you two sort of a speculative look, but you're with Glaz and Cloak, so he doesn't challenge your presence.
If he looks too close, if he looks too closely at Rowan, she sort of snaps her beak at him.
So you snap your beak at him, and he doesn't flinch, but rather he actually leans a fraction of an inch forward, and you see his hand reach back toward his hip, and he sort of shoots a questioning look to Glaz.
Drajan. I assume this is Drajan?
It's the
Or is
bouncer,
this Tyron?
whose name is Otson.
Oxen, sorry.
That's okay. So yeah, you get his attention, and he kind of looks at you, and you.
They are with us. Is Kashia around, madam?
He sort of relaxes, settles back, and kind of waves you all in. He says, "Yeah, Kashia's around. You want to?" He sort of takes a look over his shoulder, and kind of catches the attention of one of the workers in the bar. Pulls her over and speaks quietly to her for a second. So the girl he pulls over is a sort of probably in her early 20s, elf-marked female with this sort of dirty blonde hair that is it's got a messy look, but it's the kind of messy look that probably took a couple hours to manage. And she's wearing a simple dress that it seems like you might see in any sort of tavern or bar along the way, except it seems cut just low enough to catch attention and hang on to it for a few seconds before eyes manage to wander off elsewhere. And she nods to the bouncer, smiles to Glaz with a sort of almost sympathetic looking, maybe pitying sort of smile, like maybe she knows something that's up. She nods and heads into the back, past the bar. So Otson looks back to you and says, she's going to look around for Kashia. Why don't you go ahead and make yourselves comfortable?
Yes. Come in. We will show you around. I look around. I mean, is there one of the booths available, or we can go up towards the bar? Just try to remember. I've got my things. Tyron is at the bar.
Sorry, say again.
Tyron's at the bar. Is that right? Is the bartender, and then Drajan is somebody.
Drajan is the bartender. Tyron is the owner.
Gotcha. Okay, I had it backwards.
So you can see Drajan the bartender is there. He's got his head meticulously shaved, and he's very neat looking. He's wearing a sleeveless vest to display these just long sleeves of tattoos on his arms, and he's got a waxed mustache into a little curled handlebar, and looks like he's slinging drinks to the patrons. There's not really anything particular going on right now. It just seems like kind of a busy afternoon at the Scabbard. There's a lot of people laughing and drinking. You can see several of the tables down here have card games going on, and sizable piles of golden griffins have already begun to gather in the center of the table. So it looks like most of the table space down here is taken, but kind of Drajan sort of catches your eye from across the bar, gives you a chin nod, and then points up.
I wave. Thank you. Yes, we are. Yeah, we'll head upstairs.
So he just sort of nods and goes back to his business. You guys head up the stairs. For the newcomers to the Silk Scabbard, it's a pretty sizable building, and you can see that the first floor is dominated by a couple of large round tables where it looks like those card games are happening. A row of sort of sunken, recessed private booths, private-ish, like you can kind of hunker back into them and get away from the din. Most of those seem to be full at the moment, and at the far side of the room from the door and the stairs leading up, there are two recessed sand pits that are probably used for pit fights of some kind. They don't seem to be in use at the moment, but there's just a fair amount of people drinking, playing cards, meeting with friends. When you head upstairs, the upstairs is a much more wide open space with a balcony rail that overlooks the first floor, and there are just a bunch of tables up here plus a stage. You can see that there are some musicians on the stage entertaining at the moment, and there's a secondary bar as well as several doors that look like they go to private rooms. So there are plenty of seats up here. You can claim one of the tables for your company and settle in. As you do, one of the servers comes over and offers to get you some drinks, maybe a little food if you want.
Hey, 2 ales, just for me. Sorry, I got distracted by the bandits. Good, yeah.
2 ales for you. I like the sound of that. The man sort of flashes a grin at you. Whatever meat we have. I'll see what I can do. All right.
Raw is fine.
All right, then. Glaz, Cloak, anything for either of you?
Me, please, my usual, thank you.
Glaz, the usual. Sorry, Cloak, the usual. Double.
No, water.
That's what I meant. And he turns and heads toward the bar. All right, so
Tilly
as he
elbows
walks
into
to the bar,
Cloak, don't worry, you can have some of my ale too. I'll just a little suspect.
No, I don't drink. I don't drink.
Okay.
But you can trust it anyway.
All right, so you get your drinks. There's a little bit of food served here. It's really not known for its food, but they do in fact have a sort of cut of beef, maybe a slight, kind of a thinly cut steak that he'll bring on a plate for Rowan, and sets it in front of her and says, "There you are, as rare as I could manage it." Brings the round of drinks to you.
She's just starting to tuck in with her fingernails and just
like kind of tears and snaps her beak on, and yep, good, very good. So the rest of you, maybe not having seen Ravenfolk eat, this might be a little off-putting, although I imagine some of you, it takes sterner stuff to turn your stomach.
Question: do Ravenfolk actually have teeth?
They do not. They have beaks.
But I mean, geese have teeth, and they also have beaks.
Fair. Do corvids have teeth? I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's just like the beak is sharp on the sort of like has a.
I think it's their beaks are more made for stabbing and tearing.
Yeah.
Without even looking at Rowan, but knowing the mess, Tilly just kind of slides her napkin over across the table to her.
Nice. So you all settle in. Cloak, you've got your water, and you wanna hit that one a little slowly.
Yes.
Puff Puff is just sort of like curled up underneath your feet, although you can see that every few seconds she kind of edges closer under the table, like belly crawling toward Rowan's chair.
Rowan notices this and is sliding a little bit of beef under the table.
As soon as it crosses the plane of the table itself, you can just hear, and you get a little lap of a sort of wet, soft dog tongue as she snaps up the offering happily. Cloak, you can feel her tail just sort of thumping against your ankles as it wags.
I am not going to say anything at the moment, but
sure. After a little while, there is a graceful woman ascending the steps. She's human. She's in her middle age. She has long, dark hair. Despite her advancing years, it hasn't touched these midnight tresses that flow in sort of loose curls down around her shoulders. And she is wearing a dress that suggests that she has quite a bit of money but doesn't need to flaunt it. So it's quality without being ostentatious and still very tasteful. And she sort of glides across the floor, and she has this sort of drawn look to her expression, like maybe she hasn't been sleeping terribly well, but she is sort of giving a genuine smile toward the table as she approaches. And she lays one hand on Cloak's shoulder. She says, "Cloak, Laz, I'm so happy to see you both. I understand you wanted a word?" And she sort of looks questioningly at Tilly and Rowan, and then kind of at the other kid she knows.
These are our new friends. This is Tilly and Rowan. They are from far to the north, all the way up on the Wolfmark. Right?
Wolfmark.
Hey,
Yeah.
Wolfmark. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Wolfmark Peninsula.
And she gives them both. She gives you both kind of a speculative look, and her smile brightens a little bit. And she says, "Well, I'm very pleased to meet you both. And if I don't miss my guess, you're from farther north than even the Wolfmark, no?"
That is very true.
Oh, welcome to
Further
Zobek.
further north than you may ever have known, but this is much farther south than I've ever been.
Have you ever heard
And
of
there
Skull
is-
Got Home? Tilly asked
Scotland?
curiously.
Oh, most certainly, yes. That's what your people, I would imagine, the town, or I suppose it's more of a fortress that you've established there.
That's where we're from, rolling a little outside of that further.
Right, very good, very good. You've come quite a long way south then. Did you have any difficulty getting through the Blood Kingdom?
Well,
We had to participate in a few fights here and there, but nothing too bad. We did come across a little trouble, but we made it down here safely, which was the important thing. We have a great task ahead of us. So
Good. I'm very glad that you made it safely. That's a dangerous place these days. So what is it I can do for you, Laz?
I know the entertainment's really strong, Glaz, but hello.
Well, they are here. They are here from Riordan. They have had a vision.
So as soon as Glaz says that name, it's sort of she winces just slightly as if it stings, and she takes a slow breath and heaves a little sigh, and she says, "Well, aren't we all? Last I knew, I think he's here." And she sort of turns and looks rather pointedly at one of the private rooms off to the side there. And she says, "You're welcome to try and rouse him. If you can, I'd be most appreciative. I really need to talk to him."
Sounds like you need a bit of expert help.
Cloak is already out from under the table, walking towards the private room she looked at.
Okay, no problem. So Riordan, a creature of habit as he is, looks like he's been apparently staying in his same old room that he gets every time. So you head up to the door, and Cloak, you can smell this aroma as you get close. It's almost incense-like. It's this kind of thick, spicy, earthy smell that seems to be emanating from the room itself.
Okay. Can I roll medicine by chance to see if I recognize it?
Sure. Let's make a... How about an intelligence medicine or intelligence investigation would work?
What's my medicine at? Let's just do investigation because they're both +0 if we're using intelligence. So,
okay.
Woo! Straight up, how smart am I? Average.
How you do?
I got a 10. It didn't click over on.
Oh, that's okay.
Fantasy grounds, yeah.
That's fine. A 10. It smells familiar. It definitely smells familiar. Can't quite place it. Maybe it's an incense or something that you've caught on him before sometime. But yeah, you head up to the door. It's closed.
I'm going to slyly see if it's open.
Riordan, is your door open?
I don't think he just managed to lock it, so probably yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. You twist the handle, and perhaps somewhat to your surprise, it clicks open.
Oh, he's really let himself go. No paranoia, no nothing. Okay, so let's do it. And he just opens the door.
So you open the door.
Rowan's going to slide down the rest of her meat into her mouth and is going to then sort of shuffle her way over.
All right, so you snap down the last of your meat, and Puff Puff, whose head was kind of picked up and craning towards you, then sort of just settles her chin down onto her paws in defeat. And you can make your way over there.
I give one more piece to her.
Oh, all right. She snaps it up gratefully. So at the room, it is a state. The bedclothes are just sort of tossed and rumpled and half flopped off the bed. The candle on the nightstand looks like it's been knocked over and actually scorched the corner of the wooden nightstand. There's wax just sort of poured and spattered all over it. There are empty wine and liquor bottles. Probably a few of them have been smashed. You see some articles of clothing, most of which are probably Riordan's, but do you really want to take an inventory right now? And you see Riordan himself laying on the floor with his face in what appears to be just sort of a slowly drying pool of some kind of sticky liquor, and one leg is up on the bed.
Okay.
Oh, and there's a pipe. There's a pipe resting on the nightstand that has an empty wax paper packet next to it.
Do I recognize that packet?
Oh, yes. Yes, you recognize it immediately.
Oh, shit. What's this pee bucket doing here? Oh, god damn it.
There's a chamber pot, yes.
Yeah. Next to the bed. He walks up and he smells the pipe a little bit. Just
that is most certainly the source of the smell.
Oh, great. Hey, junkies. Oh yeah, this is your last and shining hope that you guys were talking about. Passed out, maybe in his own vomit. I don't know yet.
Tilly chugs the rest of her other ale. Oh, great.
Here we go.
He's really not always this bad. He's been this way for quite some time. He was better before.
And I believe we're a shite clip without a paddle.
I have the glass of water that I had earlier, and I flip Riordan over, and I'm just sitting on top of him and dumping it slowly on his forehead.
All right, so Riordan, you were having strange dreams that were being invaded by familiar voices, and weird shit was happening, and now you're sort of snapping to consciousness. Snapping to consciousness as cold water
Rowan's
pours
putting
all
her
over your
face right in front of his.
Oh, Jesus. All right. So your vision blurrily resolves into this dark smear in front of your face, and you blink the crusty goo out of your eyes, and you see this bird person. It's a raven folk. You've seen a few of them around, and she's just like right down next to your face, and you can smell a little bit of the raw meat on her breath, and one of her eyes is milky with a scar marring the feathers of her face.
She's just tapping her fingers along your cheeks and just turning your face this way and that, just inspecting. Lifts up your lip to check your fangs.
Listen, if you're one of my debtors, then I'm afraid I've forgotten who you are. So I don't, as far as I'm concerned, owe you anything anymore. So
you're
politely just fuck off. That would be great. Oh God, what are you doing here, Cloak? This is my room.
Yeah.
You've ruined all of my things. Why are my things everywhere?
Actually,
you did that, Chunky, and I'm hitting him in the head with this pipe, just like tapping it.
That's my drug pipe.
Tilly slides a pile of underwear off of a chair and sits on the chair, leaning against her warhammer.
That was definitely both masculine and feminine underwear in that pile that was being shoved out of the way. So before we go any further, Will, I'd like you to make me a Constitution saving throw, please.
Fine. That's how I feel.
That's delightful. Got it. I will make a note of that.
Someone said,
listen, can't a man just wallow in his own misery and vomit? Ugh. Why are you all here? No. I don't know any of these people, Cloak. Are these your are these nerd friends from the library? Oh God, it is, isn't it? They're all from the library. Listen, librarians.
Listen, last Scion. We've met one of your
They're calling me their nerd names, Cloak. Listen, I don't have time for your games, whatever it is. If you need another player for one of your little library games, I honestly couldn't care less. Just buy me some drugs.
Rowan's going to pull the teeth from the vampire out of her pack.
Okay, all right. This got weird.
And is going to just going to pop them on his chest.
So she drops two what appear to be teeth. Just kind of place them on your chest, Riordan. They're somewhat yellowed, and it takes you a minute to resolve that they are not just canine teeth. They are in fact fangs, quite obviously vampire fangs. And there's a little bit of like dried blood and gum still stuck to the roots.
Right. Okay. Wow. Okay. This got weird really quickly.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember someone called, was it Vlad?
Vlad? It's a very common name where I come from. It's kind of like a Steve. Vladislav. Maybe. I don't know.
Well, he was familiar with you. He told us
a lot of people do, darling. A lot of people do.
I don't mean in your debt or in your inebriation. I mean, he was very strongly aware of you. Like,
so, Riordan, are you actually trying to put any effort into remembering this person, or are you just like, whatever?
I've known a lot of people.
Okay.
A lot of people know who I am.
Do you want run a religious cult or something? Because he was a dedicated follower more than anything. Just saying.
Listen, lots of people named Vlad where I come from.
No. And God, I'm gonna get some water for him. I'll be back. And I go, but instead of getting a glass, I'm getting a water.
Get him some wine, because he's better when he's drunk. It's weird.
I'm a lot better when I'm drunk.
And can we please? Can someone get him a bath?
Yeah, he is pretty ripe. There's the smell of alcohol and old sweat and what was probably cologne at one point that has somehow gone sour, and just other smells that are probably not worth digging into to try and identify at the moment. Glaz, are you still out in the table, or did you come over to the room?
Oh no, Glaz, but he's sort of like outside of the room, just sort of looking in.
So you can see at this point, Kashia has kind of sunk down into one of the chairs at the table you were sitting at, and one hand is just kind of tight across her stomach, and the other one is just sort of covering her mouth, and her brows are pinched together. She looks quite distraught.
Glaz goes over. He's pretty distraught too. This was someone who was his friend, and to see them sort of implode like this, he goes and sits down next to Kashia. So, how long?
I'm sorry, how long what?
How long since the last time that you saw him not like this?
Since before you all went to Castle Shadowcrag.
He's never come up for air at all since Cain?
A time or two I thought he was, but I think he was just doing it to get money when he'd run out.
Has he not kept up with his prayers?
The few times I've seen him in the shrine, it's been to ask for something, and he never stayed long. I can't say what he's been doing on his own, but... And she just kind of looks into the room and then shakes her head.
Glaz shakes his head as well.
All right, so Tilly, you can go get some water. In fact, at the upper bar there, you can see the server who was helping you guys sort of looking with some concern over that way, and he hands you a sort of largish earthenware pitcher of water.
Can I also get a glass of your finest wine as well, please? Apparently he likes the wine. Might help out.
Oh, certainly, of course. So he pours you something that has a very rich, slightly fruity aroma, a very deep ruby color as the light shines through it, and kind of fills the glass to the top and hands it across to you.
I thank you. You pay him and tip him.
Mm-hmm.
And have you seen him for a while, or has he just been in his room? Did you guys even know he was there?
I think he went in sometime yesterday. Not exactly sure. He comes and goes. And he gestures to the table where Glaz is sitting. When the rest of his friends are around, he tends to stay away.
Aye, so he avoids these folks that we brought in.
It seems like it, yes. For a while now.
Have you seen anybody else? I don't mean to pry, and she'll slide a little bit smaller of her tip across the bar. Have you seen anybody else coming in and out of the room? Anybody that seemed like a normal visitor?
So he smiles a moment and says, well, there have been several. I'd call them normal visitors, I suppose.
I'll chuckle. I mean, maybe that don't work here.
A few that don't work here, but same difference, if you take my meaning.
Somebody outside of that realm. Right?
Not really, no. No one's suspicious, if that's what you mean.
Perfect. Thank you. And she'll shut
Good
up
luck.
A glass of water and wine.
All right.
Walk in.
So the Riordan, that dwarf man, comes back with with a big pitcher and a glass of wine. So things are starting to look up.
Wine. Good. Yes, now we can talk.
He throws the water in his face and you in the wine.
Oh. All right.
No.
Dirty tricks and foul surprise. That pitcher was not full of wine. That was more water.
Mr. DM, does
Thank you.
does this sort of drug / alcohol and concocted hangover count as poisoned?
Oh, absolutely.
Would you say?
Oh yeah.
Rowan is going to just look at this pitiful man-adjacent creature and is just going to lay her hands over his face and put her claws down on his face and cast Lesser Restoration.
All right. So the raven folk kind of squawks a little bit and grabs you by the face, Riordan. And you might kind of try to feebly swat her hand away, but then there's this rushing warmth that spreads through your face and through the rest of your body, and your roiling stomach quiets, and your perceptions sort of clear for the first time in probably a solid 2 months.
Oh,
so
God, everything's so sharp. Why is everything so sharp?
Hangover's gone. Well, we say hangover. You were basically still drunk and high. That's all gone. So you had finally started to feel the bliss that Requiem is named for. That's all gone now. So your unclouded mind comes crashing down on you.
This is awful.
Welcome back to the land of the living.
This is the worst. Why is this happening, Cloak?
Why did they not get him wine? Because he works better when he's drunk, and then I guess they sobered you up. So
somebody bring me some intoxicant.
Is there anything left in this pipe?
Residue.
It's a glass of wine, right?
Yeah, it's a glass of wine. All right, you have a giant, filled to the brim glass of delicious red wine.
Good. I drink it all.
All right, so he just kind of holds up a finger and just upends the glass. Big, large, round-belled glass, and just drinks the whole thing.
Okay.
I'm surprised that's the type of red that you drink.
He hasn't been able to afford that for quite some time.
Speaking of which, does anyone have any spare coins lying around? Because I could really do with, some food. And, God, what is it normal people buy? Clothes.
Not blood.
And paper. And pens? Quills? Just really things.
Are you going to the nerd house? Are you coming to the library, study with us? Is that where you're getting pens and paper?
Yes, that's right. I'll go to the nerd club.
She holds up her fingers. Pens and normal people's stuff. You'll just want to get high again.
Got me. Yes, I do. Speaking of which, do you have any drugs? Very seriously now.
No, I have some harsh truths for you.
Well, that's not nearly the same. There's about 10 minutes that things are going to get really nasty. And I don't mean that in a threatening way, more of a warning.
Oh.
My body.
Well,
you're going to poop yourself
Yes.
It would be best if you start to give us answers, otherwise things will get rather messy, and I do mean that in a threatening way.
Why are you threatening
Scion?
I'm into her now. So, all right.
Okay. I mean, if that's what you want, dude.
Well, like I say, there's 10 minutes before I shit myself, so, make the most of it.
I mean, it's been a very long time since anybody's tried that on me, but if you're into old raven folk women, then...
I might be. It's one of those things that you don't think about until it happens. But here you are. Here I am. Right. I mean, even that's not necessary. I'm a Dampier, all sorts of things.
Sometimes.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Sometimes I have a pulse.
It doesn't matter.
Check for yourself, Cloak.
Why are you here, aside from your obvious intoxication with me? What are your friends doing here, Cloak? They want something?
Oh no, I just met them today. They said you're the last scion, the last hope of who?
Well, what the fuck does that mean?
I don't fucking know.
Apparently,
I'm worried about it now myself.
I think you might have gotten the wrong person.
You can see why I was laughing hysterically.
I'm still sort of sitting on top of Riordan and pinning him down. I'm just going to start rolling the bones on his chest.
All right. So she reaches into one of her little myriad pouches that are around her cloak and hanging from straps and belts, and she pulls out this double handful and rattles something, maybe dice, and then drops them on your chest. And you look, and they look like knuckle bones. And they're old and polished and sort of rounded by use. And on the sort of a flattish side of each one, there is a rune etched into the bone. All right. So what are you doing right now? Just sort of trying to get a general feel for whatever's going on with him, or?
Yes, general feel for whatever's going on, and also asking, is this really the person who I was sent all this way to find.
Okay. And you're just kind of relying on your background feature and the like, right? You're not using any magic or spells or anything? Okay. So, what the bones show you is the exact same casting that you had in your house after you were visited by the Silver Raven. And the blood poured all over the place. This time there's no blood, and the position of the runes is precisely inverted.
Huh. What kind of meaning am I gaining from this?
So as you recall, what you were getting from that was basically just this sort of ultimate feeling of death, right? And so you're seeing the opposite of that. You're seeing its negation.
The ultimate feeling of life.
Essentially life, yeah.
Listen, are you going to stop rolling bones on me and start asking me whatever it is you need to know?
Stop acting like you don't like it. Just let her do her job. You know you do.
I never said I wasn't into it. But if I'm going to answer your questions, and I'm going to help you out, then I'm not going to do that for free.
So with the alcohol and drug haze parted because of that, and you recognized it, you've cast it yourself. That was a divine blessing of some stripe. And do you wear openly a holy symbol of Wotan, Rowan?
Yes.
Okay, and what form does your symbol take? Is it he has a few different symbols, but
it's one of the most basic, but
so it's either sort of an image of Yggdrasil or an eye, like a left eye.
It's the left eye.
Okay, so she's wearing the Eye of Wotan, the Rune Father, on an amulet around her throat. So she's clearly a cleric of Wotan. And now with that haze that was cloaking your brain and numbing your grief and drowning your pain, with all of that gone, all of that emotion that you've been repressing for the last 2 months and trying to sort of kill yourself to avoid is coming back with an edge. But on the upside, your perceptions are a little sharper, so is your memory, and you're kind of starting to get snippets of that bizarre-ass dream you had when you were laying in the branches of the World Tree, and that little squirrel creature was chattering at you and telling you about this, that, and the other thing, despite your attempt not to listen. And as you're sort of looking around, its little chattering voice echoes in your mind, talking about the one-eyed ravens coming for you. And you see that this raven folk woman is indeed basically missing an eye. And you see the shield slung on the dwarf's back has the emblem of a silver raven beaten into it, and there's a crease from a battle dent striking through the raven's other eye on her shield. And it gives you sort of this, like everything just sort of clicks into place, and you have that sort of, moment.
Okay, so let's say I believe you and I'm some kind of last hope for humanity, or last hurrah for this.
Humanity.
Right, well, the squirrel told me the same thing and I didn't believe him either.
What?
I'm sorry, what?
Oh, I'm not going to tell you. You see, I don't just tell people things for free, especially if you all have gold.
Puts her clawed hand just onto his forehead and just taps and says, "Oh, you tell us."
Are you gonna torture him?
Oh no.
I don't believe you.
10 gold, and I tell you what the squirrel said.
Ooh.
I didn't hear you. You had a little wine in your mouth.
10 gold, and I tell you what the squirrel said.
1.
What did the squirrel say?
Can you add in changing your underwear, please?
No deal.
Has anyone brought the bathtub yet?
He's in one of the luxury private suites. So there is in fact a tub, and it looks like you could draw a bath if you were so inclined.
I'll look around and see if anyone.
Fine,
might be
I'll
able to
do
go
it.
fetch. Thank you, dear.
All right, so looking at the tub, there are actually taps and a little faucet poking out of the wall. This place has actual plumbing.
Yeah, this is
I've
getting
never
exciting.
seen one of these before.
Glaz sort of walks over when they look a little bit strange. Here, let me get that for you. I will get it going.
Oh, thank you. I was gonna go ask.
When the water starts running, Rowan looks really taken aback, like she's never actually seen plumbing before.
Oh, don't worry. It's all over the place here in Zobek. We have it in Bimia as well.
As they're kind of distracted with the plumbing and Glaz talks a little bit, I like try to get Glaz's attention a little bit. Like,
yeah, sure. Yeah, Glaz, you see Cloak kind of signaling to you.
Yes. What?
No, whisper. You remember that this is inside voices.
It's not that
Not
big
Glaz
of a
voice.
room.
I know, but they're distracted right now. And then I have the pipe,
So
and then
like,
I have.
This water's hot. It comes out hot. It's so weird. Don't have to heat it over the fire. It's so interesting.
Oh,
The soap
so we can
smells like
put it the other
lavender.
way. The cold works better.
So, with Glaz away, I hold open the pipe, and then I have the empty Requiem pouch that we had. And I was like, look what someone's decided to try.
Oh no.
And he's talking about he talked to a squirrel, and I think she sobered him up, but he still says he saw it.
Alright, who's going to strip me off then?
Glaz
He just sort of holds his arms out.
walks over.
Rowan's just going to
I'll take this.
look at Tilly and say,
Just-
"Can you please help me just lift him? We're not stripping him. I'm not touching."
Glaz has already got his shirt off.
Oh, yeah,
Glaz,
Oh, okay.
Glaz will strip him
yeah.
down
I know.
because it's
I've
Glaz.
got it.
But I will also say that before he does so, there's a nice steaming bath so that Riordan isn't screaming. And as literally between the time he lets go of him and drops it, he casts Prestidigitation and makes it ice cold.
Yes!
Yes.
All right. So as he kind of helps, he half hauls Riordan across the room to the tub. And are you stripping him naked or just the shirt off?
I figure down to whatever remains of some sort of under loincloth that he might have on. If it falls
Whatever
off,
passes.
Glaz will still throw him in the tub, but he's not taking that. He's not touching that. Even
Fair
troll,
enough.
even trolls have some dignity.
So Riordan's skin is pretty pale, and you can see smears of what looks like old lipstick, sort of on his collarbone and at the kind of the nape of his neck. And there's also bruises in various places all over his torso. Once you get the shirt off of him, some of them look like they're old and yellowed and just about faded. Some of them are a little more livid and purple. A few of them they have sort of an odd variety of shapes. Some are long and thin, others are sort of more compact and round. Really odd looking. And you dump him into the water. And as you hit the water, you could have sworn once your brain sort of comes to and you realize that sound you're hearing is your own shrieking, and you're desperately trying to pull air into your lungs that are desperately trying to force it all out. That was a steaming tub before you hit it. Now it is ice fucking cold.
I come out and fuck you, Glaz. Fuck you.
I push his head back underwater, kind of like from the Princess Bride, and pull him up and push him under and pull him up. And I'll keep snapping Prestidigitation from the hot to cold and just.
Oh Jesus! All right.
So yeah, it's the Inigo Montoya method of Andre the Giant, Princess Bride.
Rowan's looking at Cloak and, well, it doesn't look like I'm the one torturing him.
Oh, this is not torture. This is friendship.
Oh, is that what you call it?
Yes, see, we're friends. Say we're friends, Riordan. See, he's having a good time.
All right. So
My only
after
friend is dead.
Oh, there it is. So he's just kind of like, he's kind of standing there knee deep in the tub with water streaming off of him. His hair just sort of flopped down in front of his eyes and just sort of glaring at Glaz.
Yes. Yes, he is.
I would stop with the look at the other two and it's like, can you give us the room for a minute?
As you wish.
Sure.
Rowan just
We're right outside the door.
Rowan's just gonna loiter on the door.
I was like, keep an eye on Puff Puff, and then I shut the door.
All right, so the last thing you see, Rowan, as you're kind of looking over your shoulder, loitering, is Riordan is sitting there looking terribly put out, most incensed, bedraggled as all hell, and his sodden underwear just kind of slips past his hips, and then the door closes.
Yes.
All right.
Funny.
So it's just the three of you in the room now.
Yes.
I didn't hear you. You sound flustered.
Well, let's say I've never seen that side of the damn Peter before.
No, I don't envy you.
No. You should,
sir.
All right, so inside the room.
Wait, do raven folk blush? Can they blush? Did that just happen?
Sure. Most of their faces are covered with feathers, so it would probably.
I mean, her feathers are just like all in hackles.
Right. So what you've probably learned is that they're blushing, and a lot of that body language that they don't really have just a physiological analog for, like most humanoids do. That sort of comes out through what's known as Hugin speech, which is a way that it's like a body language they can create with their feathers that other raven folk can use to communicate back and forth. And so while you don't speak the language or understand the language, it's kind of like Wookiee where you can't really speak it. You can pick up on some of her cues because you've been around her for a while. So that particular fluff to her feathers indicates that she is indeed somewhat flustered or perhaps a little embarrassed, and is the humanoid equivalent of a blush. Does that sound accurate, Moth?
Aye. Yep.
Aye.
All right. Cool. Back inside. Whoosh.
Yes. Riordan, Cain is dead. But you are not. And you are not going to die for a very long time. Whether you like it or not, because I, for one, am going to not let you.
What is it you want?
They have traveled from across the world because of a vision about your family. That you somehow, he looks up and down, I do not know how, but somehow that awful thing that we saw at Shadow Crag, that awful thing that killed Cain, that you are going to stop that.
I don't think so.
I know you don't. Quite frankly, I don't think so right now either. But crazier shit has happened.
We had our chance. Whatever, I'll speak with them. But don't expect anything.
Oh, that's fine.
And then...
But, you know... No, go ahead.
And then when this is all over and done, I don't expect to see you two again.
Okay. I mean, that's your call, but...
I will promise that you will not see me. It does not mean that I will not be there.
Sure.
Okay then.
Well, send them in.
Let's get you more decent. And God, man, we get some new underwear.
And so I just want to say real quick, you know, like, you know, like with everything that happened, you know, I know Kane was close to you, but I mean, I've been there before, and you know what helps me is wanting to get revenge.
I said send him in.
All right. Just word for thought. Opens the door.
All right. Door opens back up. Tilly and Rowan.
You two. I'll answer whatever questions it is you have, and then you'll leave me alone. Deal?
Sure, I suppose, but these questions are going to be very long-winded. Very long-winded.
We'll see how things go. First thing, though, it seems that you have lost someone.
Can we get to the point, please? What is it you wish to know?
Death isn't the end.
Right. Well, if I wanted your Wotan clerical bullshit, then I'd ask, but I don't.
Oh no, this one isn't clerical bullshit. She's just going to get in really close and kind of whisper into his ear. I know from experience. You want to know a secret, boy?
No.
Oh, suit yourself then.
I want you to all leave me.
Tell you.
So why don't you just get on with it?
Tilly speaks up and looks at Rowan and goes, for someone who's supposed to be praised and worshipped by all these people for such a high regard, for such the liberty of this entire thing, I don't understand why this...
I don't understand why the runes are telling me that he is going to save this world and all worlds.
Didn't you get the feeling that he is very powerful and very strong and supposed to be this great figure for this family that he's from? And
get the feeling from the runes and from the vision that he was meant to bring life and justice to his family and to the world.
Are you sure this is the right individual?
I very much doubt it. Listen, if I had the ability to save the world, don't you think I would have already done it?
I think you don't
We
give
had
a
our
shit.
chance, and the 5 of us went to Shadowcrag Castle, and we all failed.
You say failure, I say first attempt.
Sure. Now, is there a point to all of this? If I'm going to save the world, I don't think you have the right person.
I think I do. I think this person just needs a little bit of coaxing.
What danger is this world in anyway?
This world? All worlds? First, tell me, what did this squirrel say to you?
I don't know. It talked a bunch of shit. I was really high.
How do you think I get half my readings, boy?
There was a tree. The tree was on fire. The credits rolled.
Rowan's going to take out the Iwaz rune.
Tilly's gonna ask what credits are. What are credits? Is he still following?
A tree. What tree?
I know it was big. A lot of branches. I fell off it. It was on fire.
Farther than the eye could see.
I can't say I was really
Biggest
looking.
tree you'd ever seen?
Yeah, sure. Pretty big.
And this squirrel, how much of a little cretin was he?
Oh, you bastard. Yeah. But in a way, I thought it was probably a figment of my imagination or some kind of personification of my father. He was a real bastard, too.
Rowan, that
Oh,
sounds
no.
like a Ratatosk.
Good job, boy. You dreamt of Yggdrasil. And a
Woo!
Ratatosk.
Go me.
Meaning that wasn't a dream. You shite.
It's like when an old grandma swears. It's great. Go on.
I believe that was a premonition.
Right. Sure.
Or not even that. It's rather something that was actually happening that we cannot see.
Yes. Premonitions.
You know
Yes.
what?
Yes.
She's
Sounds very
going
like-
to take his chin and sort of dig her claws in slightly. You joke around too much, boy.
Do you want to know what I
have
think?
You will have some respect for me. That's what I think. Or if not for me, then you will have respect for your comrades, for your friends who have worried themselves sick to death.
I have no
about you.
comrades and I have no friends.
You had a friend. And you disrespect his memory by acting like this.
Aye.
That one probably stings.
I don't seem to be lectured by two strangers.
Memories are a powerful thing.
So at that point, anyone who's in the doorway kind of gets shoved aside a little bit, which probably not Rowan. She went in to grab Riordan by the chin. So who was back by the doorway at this point? All right, so Tilly and Cloak, you both get kind of a rough push, not enough to like knock you over, but just kind of bowl you out of the doorway a little bit, makes you take a step to get your balance. And you look up surprised to see that Kashia has sort of burst into the room and her face is flushed. She's like, no, you're not going to be lectured by them, you little ingrate. You're going to be lectured by me. Do you know how many people you have abandoned? Do you know how many of us you have left to fend for ourselves in this city that hates us? She shuts the door. They will kill us. All of us. You and your family sent us here so that your faith wouldn't die. And it was a good thing. Because of what Lucan and his trap did. And her eyes kind of well up a little bit. I don't know how many of them are left in the other cities. I don't know how many of them are left in the Blood Kingdom. It may just be us. And we're not much, Riordan, and we need you. We are all faithful, we all believe, but none of us are chosen. Morena doesn't work through any of us. It's only you. And without you, people have already started to lose hope. A few have stopped coming to the shrine. And you're hoping that we'll be able to keep funding your little bender, but I have news for you. There's no coin left. The coffers are empty. You've drank the last of it. So we can't help any of our brothers and sisters with what they needed to make ends meet. And we have no money to bribe the guards in case they come snooping. And we have no money to have those eyes and ears that scurry around the cartways to warn us if any of the kingdom's agents find us. Everything we set up is gone, and you are all we have left.
Listen, Kashia, do you want to know the truth? Our goddess left us long ago when we left those kingdoms. She failed us all. We failed her then as we failed her now. And you think that I care? No. I care not.
She slaps you across the face. How dare you? I've seen the things that you have done. You think you did those on your own? You think you did that without the Red Maiden?
She is dead to me, as are you.
Then perhaps it's better if the faithful of Kors find you before long. And she just sort of turns and storms out of the room.
Before she goes, Rowan's just going to stop her and hold her hand out to give her the teeth. Those belong to some of your brethren, some of the faithful to your Mirena, who were slowly enthralled by the Blood Kingdom.
She reaches out and with a trembling hand takes the teeth from your hand. And she kind of looks at you.
Things are dire. Tilly and I have seen it.
Right.
She just
You have my condolences.
She just sort of turns and heads out and turns toward the stairway and heads back down to the ground floor of the Silk Scabbard.
Apologies for that. Now, can we finish up here?
I'm curious of if I only have a limited amount of time with you, can I just ask a few questions on my own?
Fine.
What
was your name again?
It's Tilly. It's Tilly. T. Well, okay. I was gonna ask that deep, rotten pain you feel for your friend is not one that all of us aren't without, and it's not one that many people are gonna be without if you just let your family, let your race, let our own world burn. You can't.
I can't let my family all burn because they're all already dead. They died.
I'm not saying yours, but how dare you hope that the rest of the world feels this pain that you do? I don't understand how you can be so heartless to not worry about even people who care enough about you. You seem so easily to push people away. It feels, frankly, like you just want to not care about anybody anymore. These are your friends. They were concerned about you, and you push them away for just that reason. And I don't believe it's because you're heartless. I believe it's because you actually care about them. And I think you need to be honest with yourself. It's probably why you drugged yourself stupid. It's why many people after a great battle and great loss drink and drug themselves stupid. It's because they want to fight that feeling, and you don't need to. You need to hold the honor of your friend high and your own honor high. That's just how I feel. I'm sorry you don't know me at all, but it's important.
All of these people, and now you two as well, and now the whole world thinks that I am some kind of savior. I could help people and bring life to them. Well, you know what? That was my whole job before, was protecting people. I was a cleric. And you know what? I failed. And they all died. And then, last thing, my last brother, Cain, he died too. And I was the one that was supposed to protect him. So if you think that I can help anyone, then you're wrong. Because I can't. I just bring death and misery to everyone that gets close to me, so it's really just best if you leave me alone to die here.
I think for the sake of my own family and for the sake of my own friends, I will choose not to. Just because they mean more to me than my own pain and ill nature towards fighting an idea of death. Death is honor if you fight hard enough, and I think that yes, it might not have been your time then, but accepting the fact that maybe now is your time will be your strongest hill to climb. I think that would be good for you.
I don't think that there's anything that the world needs me for. But by all means, tell me of this world-ending doom which is coming our way, and I'll see what I can do about it. I've got time next week on Tuesday. I'm kind of busy until then.
I don't think you are. You're pretty broke from what she said. No offense. I just mean if you're not gonna get high and you're not gonna get drunk, then might as well maybe spend some time working it out with us.
What is it you
Sorry,
want?
I just completely blanked out during that whole self-pitying rant.
No offense taken.
Do you want to leave everyone else left in this world and all worlds to die like your friend? Because that's what will happen.
Sure.
Oh,
I choose that option.
how generous.
You're welcome, because it all does depend on me, of course.
Rowan's going to cast command.
All right. What are you commanding him to do? What is your one word command that you're giving him?
Help.
So if you're trying, if you're trying, like, it'll make him do something for 1 action worth, I believe.
Or
Squad.
either that or...
Yeah, it's only for 6 seconds.
Yeah.
Gesture,
Fine.
maybe?
Believe.
So it
Just
has to be
get through
something
it.
that a person. It has to be something that a person can do, and it's like you can't just sort of decide to believe something, right?
Okay. Then I'm fine. The word's going to be grovel then.
All right. Or if it's not fitting what you were wanting to do, you don't have to cast it. That's fine. But if if you want to.
I'm going to make him grovel so he falls prone.
Okay. Riordan, why don't you make a wisdom saving throw?
Say 8.
And
Fall to
8.
my knees.
Yep. You kind of fall down to your knees and just sort of like slump down to the floor, your palms on the wood.
And Rowan's just going to use her kind of weird bird foot to push you back and stands with her foot on your chest.
So you're kind of manhandled by the raven folk a bit, this talon-like foot pressing down on your chest. And you sort of return to your senses.
Oh, clever trick. Very good. I used to be able to do that one too.
Tell me, boy, do you have a death wish? It seems you do.
Are you gonna kill me?
Oh no, there are worse things than death, trust me. Death would be giving you what you want.
Before Rowan can
Then
pressure
we'd all
him too
be-
much, Tilly
Okay.
looks at Glaz and goes, I know the little one doesn't have a lot of care about what happens with this guy, but you seem like a caring figure. And I don't
I
understand.
just don't wear my heart on my sleeve, so Jesus.
No, you're fine. I understand you're a little more closed off, but I just... You guys said he was your friend. I don't understand. You're just standing there listening to him.
You think we haven't already said all this to him?
They've been trying for months.
Yeah, but now, excuse me, the fire is under your ass and on the tree. We need to wake him up a little bit. I don't want to see more people hurt than what's happening already. And if this guy is our saving grace, we've got to do something.
Well,
What
I mean,
you say?
I can
What
get
did
some
you
more
know?
wine, but I don't know what else to do.
What did you know of this Latislav?
Well, I talking to him or me?
So
talking to you.
Riordan, now that the haze is gone, when Glaz starts talking about Ladislav, that does ring a bell.
He approached our
Oh.
camp. He was bloodied and bruised. He was
Vladislav, you said.
Yes, is this your friend? He was telling us he was your follower. He is who told us your name. He is who told us to come and find you.
So, Riordan, you remember him. He was not someone who was terribly close to you, but he was someone that Danielle recruited back in your early days when you were sending these cells of your faith to other cities. And you know that he was a vampire, but he wasn't a full vampire lord. He was the spawn of, you're not exactly sure who, but you think it was one of the ranking priests of Morena. And so he was both influential and had ability to garner resources from the mainstream church that the rest of you didn't necessarily risk trying to tap into. But he also was more insulated because that was a little bit of a risk. If he knew who anyone was, he could have been a liability.
I remember him. Is he alive?
Not anymore.
Those teeth
As
you
far
saw?
as we know.
So
Those
you killed
teeth
him?
that... No.
Well,
he wished for death.
Oh. Well, yes, then we are very alike, he and I.
He's not dead. I don't believe he is. But he was in... Tilly, you can describe the kind of state he was in.
Frenzied, aye.
Enthralled. Fighting
Terrifying.
against his wishes.
I see.
Considering his mind looked to be as if it was on its last straw, and your name was the last bit to be whispered out as help.
Wow. What a strange coincidence. I suppose you remembered me then. Means nothing.
More than
Aye,
his
that
own
he did.
family, more than his own mother, you.
You don't
More
forget
than
me.
Mirena.
Oh, well.
Oh, I'm sure. I won't be able to scrub this memory from my brain very, very
I
soon.
get into the dirty little cracks. You found a friend of mine who was dying, and he said, "Find Riordan," and now you came all across the world to find me because you thought it was the end of the world. Fine. Good. Well, now we've cleared this all up. I can tell you, I remember him from a while ago. He was a follower of mine. Not a particularly good one. And now that he's dead or gone, I'm afraid I can't help you anymore.
What happened 2 months ago?
I don't know, I think I bought some new armor.
At the keep, at the castle. Glass, what was it called?
Shovel Crag,
That one.
Dreadwalker.
Shadowcrag. Yes, now you say that, I do remember it. We went there to save the world, and cult there, killed a few of them. Can't figure anything else important that happened there. Goodness, what else? No, nothing comes to mind.
Killed absolutely all of them. Glass and Cloak.
She'll press her foot down a bit harder.
Ooh.
Are you certain?
Of what?
That was all that happened?
Listen, you don't need me to answer that question. Cloak and Glass here are both big nerds, and they were jacking off the whole time about how magic it was and how there was trees and shit. I just showed up there because my friend was going.
Why was your friend going?
I don't know.
Why?
What was important
You
for
do
him?
know.
I think he had a thing for the other girl. What was her name? I don't remember.
No.
Looked like a cat.
I don't think people
Riordan,
follow
you
each
know
other
why
into
he
that.
went. Riordan, you know why he went. You know why we rushed up there. You know why Cain led us there. Because Cain wanted to save the world.
Well, and look
You
where that
remember.
got him.
You would disrespect your friends so
But-
easily.
You didn't know my friend. He didn't care much for memories.
Memories are important. If you disrespect his memory, you disrespect his very being.
I'm sure
was
he'll
willing-
forgive me in time.
He was willing to risk his life. Riordan.
That is honor.
Kind of been there and done that, you know?
As you said, we are not done. Riordan is. We are not done. Cain, what he started is not finished. Now, one thing you do know, and you can't deny this, Cain never left the fight unfinished. Ever. I've seen that man half dead throw a last punch. The gods themselves interfered in order so that he could win and finally win a battle right here, just outside in those rings. She kept getting up the blessings of deities.
Mavros.
Gotcha.
Yet he fought all the way through and still won. Against all odds. The fight is not done. Cain's fight is not done, Riordan.
Then where is it? Just not here. I haven't seen the world end. I haven't looked outside the mark, so maybe it
You
is.
said he was your brother, right?
Yes.
Then I believe it being you.
Say that again, sorry.
I said I believe it being you. The fight, the leftover fight.
Oh.
As much as you want to deny it.
Well, I'll have a look around, and if I find it, I'll let you know.
I believe it is in the Western Wastes, where we saw that Dread Walker sent. Do you remember the vision? Man in white, with the void carvings on his arms, pulling the heart out of a Dread Walker. A living Dread Walker. We've now seen a living Dread Walker moved from the forests to the plains of the Western Wastes.
Well, let's say that's true, and let's say that the world is really ending. You want me to go to the Western Wastes with you all? Is that it?
Would be a
Is this
start.
some big ploy to get me out of here? Because if it is, it's not going to work.
Well, she's going to kick you out pretty soon. In fact, it might be later today you'll have Drajan in here throwing your ass out on the street.
She loves me. That's
Oh, the one that just slapped you and walked out of here.
oh yeah.
The one who said that you said that her goddess was dead and that she could die too. Oh yes, I'm sure she's going to come and say, "Oh, Riordan, oh, let's sleep together." Oh. Yeah, that's what's going to happen. I'm so sure.
I've kind of gotten good at manipulating people, and she's
Not
very.
anymore. Look at yourself.
Thank you.
Look
You
at
think you're good at
yourself.
manipulating people with vomit running down half your body. You
I
were
got this.
lying in a pool of your own waste. Not even 10 minutes ago. I've heard some tall stories in my time, and let me tell you, that is one of the funniest things I have ever heard.
I am a comedian. Yes. So tell me the big.
Don't quit your day job.
big known plan is go off the Western Wastes, stop the evil forever, and for some reason, I'm a part of this, presumably because you don't have any other friends. And we go off, save the world, and all's good. Should we leave tomorrow? Now, even?
Well,
Now
we probably
would be
go to the
fantastic.
library first and do some research.
Of course, yes, we must go to the library and do the research. That was almost my favorite bit of the whole adventure thing, was just,
I'm sure they have some
The
raunchy
library.
books there.
Listen, if you want me to come along with you so that you're not all so lonely and uncool, then you're gonna have to pay me. Because I'm not doing this for free anymore.
Can we pay you in kindness and the thought of a job well done?
Fuck no.
Even Tilly laughs.
I told you guys earlier, you gotta pay him in drugs.
Look, when my family goes leaving, we don't go knowing what we're going to get, but we find what we get and we take it home. So,
No deal.
I'm just saying, if you imagine yourself on
I'm
the
not
podium,
your little dwarf family and your little raids and whatever it is you do.
You know, Tilly, worse comes to worse, we can always talk to him. Whoever said he had to come willingly?
he's not even worth my hammer at the moment, honestly.
I wouldn't care. So, pay me or leave me alone. Your choice. I'll come with you, but I'm not going to be fun. And I'm not going to make it easy for you either. You're all weird and I don't like you.
Fine. Fine. I don't like you either.
Tilly chooses to leave the room alone with him and his friends.
Okay.
I look to Glass. She loves me too.
Oh, obviously, yes, yes, you are quite.
Explain how to get.
Yes, because we came all this way and she fought through the Blood Kingdom just to get a look
Wait,
at the famous Riordan.
you fought through the Blood Kingdom?
Aye.
Oh. Good. Right. I'm gonna need some drugs. Firstly, because we're dangerously close to 10 minutes. And also some food would be good as well. Why don't we go
That was
down?
5 minutes ago.
Yeah, pretty sure 10 minutes has come and gone, but that's all right.
It's just coming around for the second bout.
God.
I think now might be about time for that suggestion. So,
What's suggestion?
Is there another wisdom?
Oh, yeah, you
that'll
casting
be another
suggestion on
wisdom.
him?
Yeah.
What is the suggestion you're giving him?
I suggest that you follow us for a little while and see how everything pans out.
Fine. Like I say, I'll do it for money.
Now,
So I
what was-
believe an
what was-
11. An 11 is going to be a failure
Yeah,
on that wisdom
Yeah.
saving throw. So for, I believe, the next 8 hours, as long as Rowan maintains her concentration, yeah, fine. You can just you can go along with them, see how it goes.
Whatever. I'll spend
Probably
20
some
hours.
money in it.
I'll fall asleep.
Do I see that she casts a spell?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I was like, you shouldn't do it that way.
Well, how are you going to do it? Love and affection and all of that. It was working so well, wasn't it, Cloak?
That wasn't going to work. Just for the record.
Have you guys met me?
I mean, a couple of hours ago I did.
Did I seem love and affectionate?
No, but you do have a dog, so
Yeah.
there would be worse surprises.
Also, for the record, Cloak's my favorite out of all of you.
Tilly comes
Yeah,
back in with
Glass
a bottle
does
of
get a little
glass.
bit of a chuckle out of Rowan saying that Cloak is love, and in fact, showing him it is, and Cloak going, "Have you met me?" And I'm kind of like, she probably has. She really has not. it's not. Just
But
because he's cute? Yeah, no.
I don't condone you controlling him just because, for whatever
I'm not
reason.
controlling him.
Suggesting to him.
I suggested he maybe come with us for a little while, though it will soon be up to him to make his mind up.
You guys are my shot out of this dump. So, sure.
Well, we're the only way he's getting more drugs.
Yep. You are my enablers.
And trust me, Riordan, there are some old wise woman recipes passed down from Wotan.
I like it.
Ways that will really get you.
Those are kind
what
of
is it that
I like the most.
what do the children say? Gets you off your face.
Right. Off your beak, probably. God, I'm good.
Higher than Yggdrasil.
No. That doesn't translate so well. But sure, I will take all of your weird old granny drugs and I'll... that sounds good. Really good.
It's my version of grandma candy.
All right.
Rowan
he
will
seems
actually
to be...
help him up now.
Okay. All right. She lets you up off the floor and offers down a hand to.
I
pull you
wipe
to
up
your
some
feet.
blood from the claws, and
Yeah, there's just a little bit, a little scratch here and there. Yeah.
right, where are we going then?
Does it taste funny, my blood?
Or
Oh, it's his blood, not yours. From
Oh,
his claws, your talons in his chest.
yes, that's right.
I flash my fangs for a second. So are we staying here in the fuck house, or you guys got somewhere else?
No, I heard there were pancakes somewhere else.
From
Yeah,
outside
no, I'm
the
not
door, you
bringing
hear
this shit
Tilly
show.
shout, "Hey, pancakes!"
This is not a shit show I want to bring to Mrs. Kettle Whistles because, yeah.
Let's go see her. She'll give me some drugs.
Yeah, she's the biggest drug dealer, so big.
Oh, she's got some.
All right.
That
So
moment when you
getting
get
getting
stuck
dressed
in your ear.
Getting dressed
go.
then, Riordan for now, or
As much as I can.
sure. I mean, you can find some serviceable clothes in the room.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of them. So Riordan takes a few minutes, gets himself pulled together. You find your armor sort of lying in a heap underneath some of the old laundry. Do you gather that up, or do you leave it?
I take a long look at it and I leave it.
No problem. So, you guys just kind of wait outside the room as Riordan puts himself together. And Puff Puff is just sort of laying about where she was under the table with her chin resting on her paws, just kind of doing dog eyes, look over toward the room. Just sort of flopped there.
A little whistle. That's what I do.
Yep. So she hops up and trots over to you.
And then I just have her sit next to me, like probably eye level with me.
Yeah, thereabouts.
And I look at them while Riordan's getting ready, and I was like,
You really just shouldn't do it like that. I know he's a piece of shit, but I mean, honestly, it just seems
There
like
are
he's gonna
better
get.
ways. I agree there are better ways, but what other choice do we have right now?
Do we have to go the the Western Waste, or is there a time limit, or?
I'd like to roll the bones to ask where we need to go. Now that we have the scion.
All right. Go ahead and make a wisdom check.
Okay. Okay.
How'd that go?
I believe that was a... I'm not very used to fantasy grounds, but that was a 5 all up.
Oh, okay. So if you you just kind of grab one of the dice with the mouse and drag it, and then if you throw it into that little chat box where it shows them, it should pop up.
Into the
chat
box. Okay.
But the 5-year-old is fine. So you get the rune equivalent of ask again later.
Stupid thing's broken.
Looks as though you're
Glaz will chime in
as
and just...
hungry as I am. Sorry, Glaz. I can't hear you. The music's really loud. It's really hard for me to tell you when you're talking.
Sorry.
No?
It's a guess on my part, really. From what we saw, whether or not that is where we need to go. It sounds as though perhaps maybe even the Blood Kingdom is where this lies. But as with most things that involve saving the world, who knows in the world where you must go?
I was... This vision, it told me to go to the south and find the last Scion. But now that I've found him, well, I don't know what to do.
Well, he is not a priest anymore. His people don't believe in him, so...
Well, the woman who owned this place believed in him clearly.
That's waning quickly.
Or maybe...
Don't know. I mean, maybe in their heart they do. I don't know. The one who came to us after the battle did. Definitely did. Maybe it's just fewer and far between than it was before, but they're still there.
Dan, over my sort of study with the library, I mean, I'm sure I was sort of trying to look into of any type of what's next after seeing a crazy long name that I can't pronounce. The not frozen Dreadwalker, Lofgun get transported out of the Arbanese forest, or Yogardreketh, get pulled out of the Arbanese forest and down what we thought was into the Western Waste. I'm sure I would have just done a little bit of what that could mean, any portents, I mean, any old writings of, is there doomsday stuff?
I mean, most of what you're seeing doesn't really map to anything that you've learned or heard about. You've never seen or really heard of a ley line or a shadow road being subverted that way. I mean, the closest you've ever heard of is something with a key of Velis, but it doesn't even... Whatever that Void Speaker did, it reached out and plucked a immensely powerful, essentially a demigod or the like, or maybe even a minor god, and pulled it against its will to somewhere else in the world. That is pants-wetting levels of power that you really don't have any concept of how that happened. And there's really nothing since the ancient magocracies really even comes close to being able to do that. And as far as you know, the sorts of magic that could do that once are no longer realistically possible because of what happened in the Western Wastes. Now, the fact that you saw it happen, clearly the rules have changed somewhere along the way, and you suspect it has to do with all of that void magic, and maybe something to do with the magic item that the Void Speaker was using, those pages of the Nullifier's lexicon. Right. But clearly that individual seemed able to tap into it or use it in a way that you really can't, or at least don't understand.
Right. And our only lead was the painted man of what those were, not necessarily where there were more, and the Collegium does anything. So just because of Glaz's archaeological work, is this something that could have been done by the Unkashelians?
I mean, they could do, as far as you're able to piece together, just ridiculous bullshit. So certainly possible, except you don't really have a great handle on how Vril technology works. They're sort of techno magic with those bizarre devices. It's possible that you could talk to someone who is more versed in that and try and find out more. And you do remember that you have seen a Vril battery somewhat recently, even here in Zobek.
Yeah, that little guy down in the cartways who
it looked like there was
when I got my scroll, he ran off with that, but it caught my eye. But so I guess for things like that, I mean, Unkashelian artifacts and Vril technology, I mean, is that the cartways, or is that's not Collegium research?
That's more
cartways,
apparently there's some sort of dust goblin smuggler or merchant lurking in the cartways, so that's a thing. Generally for that sort of thing, you need to go toward Bemia or the Western Wastes or those areas. That's where they have more of it.
Yeah. I mean, I like I said, I kind of was guessing about this whole thing, so I don't want to send the party on a goose chase out to the Western Waste if that's not the next place to go. So,
sure.
Yeah, I guess I guess my question is whether Glaz has any idea of where to find out where the next step might be of knowledgeable people who might be able to point us.
I mean, it depends on what your goal is. What is your goal here? If you remember, you were talking. You brought up the figure that Kari saw in her dreams and her sort of prophetic dreams and visions. As far as you could tell, that was the Void Speaker that you dealt with at Shadowcrag.
Okay,
like that so the visage, the image of that individual.
Okay, yeah. So I guess that was that was that actual specific person, not necessarily someone in the same uniform.
So it kind of so her vision of that person looked like them with some more stuff going on, like the void glyphs on the arms and the things. But as far as it seemed like the person to you. You never got a really good look at their face, or she never got a good look at their face to describe it to you. But I mean, the face didn't mean much to you once you guys got a good look at it at Shadowcrag. It was all blackened and corrupted and just kind of nasty. And it's not really anyone that you'd ever met or would recognize. So,
gotcha.
Although I will say that I recall you had a lay surge. When you were casting a spell on one of the void cultists, and you actually got a name out of them. I don't know if you recall that.
Let's see if I wrote it down.
Let's see if I wrote it down. Dervin Dalvik?
Nope.
Ostrom? Is that the Ostrom?
That's
Ostrom
the one,
trying
yes.
to take the heart to kill a world tree.
Yep. He referred to my Lord Ostrom.
So that might be our lead.
So that's certainly something you could try and find out. Maybe you could find out more about who or whatever that was.
So is that a religion thing, or I guess that's what we need to go find out. So maybe our clue we've got.
Could be.
So
yeah. So what are you guys doing in this immediate moment?
Player-wise, I'm trying to figure out where the hell we should go. Glaz is like, we need to go to the Western Waste. Because that's what he thinks we need to do.
As people are looking in the bones, I'm walking back into Riordan's room. Currently at this time.
Sure. Doing anything in particular?
I'm going to go talk to Riordan, but I'm letting other people go before that.
I'm just tapping my bones on the couch like, why won't you work?
Outside of using an actual spell or calling upon the blessings of Wotan, you know that the bones are fickle at best. And so sometimes you're able to draw more out of them than others. And you've been on quite a hot streak in the last 6 months or so on simply just casting your bones and drawing meaning from them. But I mean, sometimes they don't come up with anything particularly useful, or something that's not useful until after the fact. You can kind of realize, oh, that's what that meant. Well, that was vague. Sorry, Tilly, what were you doing?
Tilly has found her way back to the bar because she's actually brooding a little bit, because there's one thing that she is more proudful than anything is her own father and family, and for this savior of our world to have slighted her family so quickly kind of rubbed her a little bit of the wrong way. So
got it. That one struck home.
That one stung. Yeah.
Okay, got it. So are you going to the upper bar or the lower bar?
The bar outside of his room. She's just finding an ale to kind of find solace in, and that was it.
No problem. So, Rowan, you're just sort of hanging out in front of the room?
Yeah. Since the bones aren't working, she might actually try and find somewhere quiet to commune with Wotan if possible. Or spend some time in prayer.
Sure. Yep, she can do that, no problem. Cloak, you headed into Riordan's room, and it looks like he's pretty much got himself ready to go finally. He was kind of staring off into the corner of the room for a bit, and snaps out of his reverie when you come in.
Do I see what he was looking at?
I don't know, looks like a pile of dirty clothes.
Okay.
So maybe he was just kind of 1,000-yard staring.
So I would purposely shut the door loud behind me so he would notice.
Sure. Boom.
Hi.
Hello.
So, yeah. I just want to let you know, since you're going to die anyways, regardless if the world ends or you kill yourself in a stupor, that, people have fucked up past. And one thing about mine is, when I die, am going to be ripped apart by devils for all eternity. That wasn't my choice. That's my people's choice. I don't tell people about this, nor do any of the Nihilm gnomes talk about this. But I trust you enough not to tell anyone, because that's a weird, fucked up relationship that we have. But what drives me, and I kind of want to bring that home about the revenge, is I watched grandmother take everything away from me. I watched her take my mother. I watched her take my father, in a sense. And I've not wanted anything more to kill her. Now, regardless if you actually want to come along, whether the spell wears off or whatever the case may be, but I'm going because I want to get more power, because I want to kill everything that has to do with grandmother. Now, it may be insane, and I know at this moment in time I'm not strong enough. And if the world ends, that gets in the way of getting my revenge. And I don't want that. Whether you pray to your blood goddess again or not, that's your choice. But every once in a while I'll get you a bottle of wine if you come with us.
That last bit convinced me.
I know the other shit wouldn't convince you, but if we're gonna die, at least know my drive, I guess. Does that make sense?
So when he references grandmother Riordan, you're pretty sure he's talking about the Baba Yaga, which, when he mentioned sounding insane, it certainly does that.
Yeah. Right. Well, once this whole end of the world thing is over, if we're still alive somehow, we'll both go and die together with this grandmother of yours. Sounds fun.
Yeah, it could be. Or we could just die doing that.
Fair enough. Are these friends of yours? I mean, they seem kind of weird. Oh.
We met them today, and then, Glaz, he fucking started talking their ear off, and then they're like, oh, then they started talking his ear off, and I was like, you guys give way too much information. And, yeah. So here we are. You know what's so funny? You're the last Scion, and it's fucking hilarious.
Yes, there is an irony to that, isn't there?
I died laughing because I knew this moment was going to be great.
Well, I'm glad it's been so enjoyable for you.
Yeah. Always gotta find the funny shit in this fucking dog pile of a world.
Right. Well. Okay, well then, let's go to the library or whatever.
They have no idea what we're doing, so... Well, then open the door and just walk out.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Riordan, do you still have those fangs that Rowan handed you?
I pocketed them.
Pocketed them. Okay.
No, I handed them back to Kashia.
Yep.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
that's right. You gave him the Kashia. Kashia has them. That's right. Okay. All right. So Cloak and Riordan finally emerge from the room. Riordan looking a little bit more clean and put together, which is nice for everyone else around him. Cloak looks pretty much the same as he always did. Mask, red hood, moss growing on it.
Glaz actually does have an idea.
Aha.
So does Tall Squall.
Okay.
Glaz flipping through notes and things. I mean, as he has a bazillion notes at different ways. I just thought of something.
Okay.
You know who, had their finger in our last adventure and ended up not being quite as bad of a guy as we thought that he was, but seems to have an ear on strange things that occur in the city. Perhaps we should go see Thrick. If anyone might have an ear on what's next or whatever might be churning in the world that could be bringing unrest. Thrick might not only know about it, he might be making a profit from it.
He said a lot of good things, so yes, I agree we should see him. While we're in town.
And yes, he probably has the drugs.
He has my drugs, which you will all buy for me in recompense for me coming with you and being the savior of the world. I think that deserves some drugs, at least a little bit of drugs for saving the world.
I'm a hermit.
You're a crab?
Well, yes, I do have a metaphorical shell, but I live in my own little bubble up really far north. Do you think I have money? Do you think I have gold just to give out for your drugs?
So are you a spiritual crab?
No.
You're like a druid. Oh god, she's a druid.
No, I'm a cleric. I just like living alone because...
Yay, cleric high five.
What?
Alright, well, I don't know if you have
or...
money, but I know these two nerds do. Because they've got like savings accounts and shit. It's gross.
I get 3% interest.
What's an account?
I tell you on my savings account.
What is interest?
I see.
All about it. But let's go see Frick first.
It's like when you owe a drug dealer a lot of money, and then they start not wanting money, start your fingers instead, and that's sort of compound interest.
Can I have a recap? Who's Thrick again?
Focus on the pound.
Thrick is the guy with the black shields.
Yeah, he's the leader of the Black Shields.
Oh, shit. Okay.
What is this Thrick that you're telling me about?
He is a very interesting man. He is the leader of the Black Shields. Yes. And at one point we thought that he was Kane's brother, but I guess that was not exactly how that all worked out. But yes. So he... two things. One, he is very well connected. Two, he might have worked for us so we can get some money to buy Riordan some drugs. And like I said, he seems to have his fingers in both the rumors and the goings-on pretty much everywhere.
No, you don't need to buy the drugs. I can make some.
Oh, shh, don't tell Riordan that. He'll be going through your bags day and night.
Well, I need money. I need money for materials for drugs.
Okay, you're going to be my drug cook. And maybe the other one, the dwarf, she could be a mule, get it from outside of the city whilst we're saving the world, bring stuff over. Or Cloak, he's good and small. They never spot him. And then I'll save the world while the rest of you find ways to bring me drugs. And I'll work real hard on it, I promise.
Tilly ignores what he says
So-
and looks at Glads and goes, so you know the man we have to go to?
Well, he is one of those men that you more put out word that you're looking for him, and if he decides to find you, he finds you. He sort of owes us one, though, so I believe that if we whisper in some ears, he will come.
I realise we need to rename this show Breaking Bird.
This could be the name of this arc. All right. So you want to put the word out to Vandesi and Thrick that you're looking to talk to him?
Yes.
Okay. That should be simple enough.
I was going to say we could send a messenger, and Tilly points to her silver raven on her shield.
Oh, yeah.
That we could.
Let's see
I'm
how
sure if he's
that
infamous enough, he'll be able to find it.
works. Recipient. So you need a location that you visited and a recipient that you at least have a description of.
I don't think I'd probably just say where he's been.
Yeah, you probably haven't.
Would it be able to listen to Galaz's description of where he's been?
Let me double check the magic item.
Just knowing Thrick, most likely Glaz would probably say, again, he probably is someone that we don't want to go surprise somewhere without us getting into a fight. In fact, we fought with the Black Shields twice when we came across them unawares.
Not to go in person, but I've got a little messenger that can go for us.
Why are we trying to find someone who will fight us?
No. I'm saying if he comes to you, everything will be fine. If you go to him and enter his territory, or he's not expecting you, he tends to have a very.
So
your hut with a surprise.
Your particular Raven, Tilly, is a little bit more useful than a standard animal messenger spell. It can do that, but it is a little more versatile. So you're not bound by exactly those strings. So you think perhaps if Glaz could give it directions, it could go to a place that he could direct it to. It's a little bit more like a familiar.
Mm-hmm. Okay, sure. Do you think you could give directions to a messenger that I could bring or help? Potentially, or at least maybe the neighborhood?
So I'm just trying to remember. I know that Thrick met us here at the Silk Scabbard before, but was he the one who ran up into the office down at the black market in the there, or was that someone else? What was that?
No. So
was that Trobakar? Or Master Underhill?
That was Radu Underhill, who went up the steps to that hanging building, that hanging room. Apparently, that's his house.
Right. Yeah. So I was just making sure I wasn't thinking that Vandesian was there. So.
Nope. Well, Thrick was definitely at the.
He was there, but that's not his house.
He was there at the
I couldn't give the Raven directions to there to go get Vandesian Thrick.
Not to the house, but maybe to the market.
Oh, yes, he does hang out there quite a bit. Is there a time limit on this? I don't know if he keeps regular shop hours down there.
No, I think he should look for him for about 2 days, and if he can't find him,
for 2 days, I'm
sure
you
could give him the description of Thrick. You think Tilly, if there were some way you mentioned that they told you that this guy is the leader of a mercenary company. If they could describe some way to recognize a member of that company, the Raven could probably find one of them as well.
Yes, that is quite easy. They have a brand on their neck. Isn't it a brand or a tattoo? Sorry.
It's Thrick's was a tattoo. It looks like all of his men had a brand.
So yeah, I will draw out the shape of the black shields and go.
Sure.
If you can find a man who has that as a tattoo, that is Thrick himself. Otherwise, he finds the brand, and that is one of their people that could probably take a raven. It's enough of an omen for a raven to come and land on your shoulder and tell you he have a message that he probably would take them to him.
Aye. And Tilly will tap on her shield and call for Baldwin, her silver raven.
All right, so
Now
you
look at
whisper Baldwin's name as well as the word Moonin, which you guys know means memory. It's one of Wotan's ravens, and there is a bluish shimmer on the surface of the shield, and the silver raven emblem stamped on it begins to move. It twists its head and flexes its wings with this soft metallic creaking, and it flies off of her shield, leaving it just sort of a blank, dented, flat silver facade. And it flies up into the air, flutters around, and then lands on Tilly's shoulder and begins like grooming the braids that she has bound down by her cheeks into a beard.
I know.
Rowan's going to give it a scritch.
He kind of twists his head over toward Rowan, and his left eye blinks with a little clinking sound. His right eye, of course, has a big kind of creased gouge through it.
Baldwin, if you'll pay attention, this is Glass. He's going to give you some directions. We have a message to call for an individual. He should be able to tell you all about them. And she picks it up with her finger and hands him right over to Glass.
So he's pretty damn big. A raven or a crow is a pretty big bird, so you probably need your hand, not just your finger. He's not like a parakeet. But so he kind of looks at Tilly, tilts his head, looks over at Glaz, and then opens his beak and kind of clicks it, and in Tilly's voice says, "Listen to Glaz," and then hops over to the trollkin.
Glaz looks at it. Now, aren't you? Adjusts his glasses. Oh, you are quite a beautiful, beautiful specimen. Look at all of these magic and enchantment on you.
He sort of lifts up his wing and begins preening his silver feathers.
Tilly stands larger, proud.
Now, Baldwin, let me tell you a little bit about what you are looking for. And so he'll describe the tattoo and tell him about, if you find the one who has a tattoo, that is Mr. Vandresian Thrick himself. Otherwise, you will find one of his people who work for him of the Black Shields. And I am sure that they will take you because you are such an interesting thing. I am sure that Thrick always has his people on a lookout for new and exciting entries into his city.
Okay, so Tilly, you know that Baldwin can carry a message of up to 25 words.
Glaz and the cloak.
Technically, Tilly has to deliver the message. You can give the description, but this is Tilly's item. It's bound to her. She has to give the message.
He's interested, at least.
E-cloak and dagger. I'm just saying Glaz and Cloak would like to meet with Vandesian Thrick.
10?
At the Silk Scabbard. New development on Castle Shadowcrag.
Shadowcrag's one word.
Has
20.
Come into town.
Okay, 24 words. So, Tilly, I assume you repeat that verbatim.
Hi, Glaz and Cloak would like to meet with... I can't make out that guy's name again. Will you say it to me?
Vandesian Thrick. I'll type it for you.
No, you're fine. I just want to make sure I'm spelling and saying it right. Vandesian Thrick at the Silk Scabbard. New development on the castle Shadowcrag has come to town.
All right.
And she'll go ahead.
So the Raven listens intently as you do that thing, and he takes to wing and begins flying around the room and is looking for a way out. And some of the bar patrons and a few of the companion workers who are around sort of startle as this metal bird begins zipping around.
I yell down to Axon. Open the door if you will. Thank you. Sorry. I assume
Kind
they
of
are
grunts
used to.
and just sort of looks with these narrowed eyes at the bird and cranks the door open. And it does one more wing around the fighting pits and then flies out the door. Out
Thank
onto
you,
the street.
Watson. I will give you a tip later. I'm sorry.
Kind of,
Just me again. I will say nice things to Valia about you.
Okay, so as you guys are watching the path of this bird, down in one of the booths on the lower floor, you can see that Kashia, the woman who was scathingly berating Riordan before, is tucked in the back of one of the booths with, there is a young dwarf man there, and they're like talking closely to each other, and it looks like Kashia has been very recently crying. Like her eyes are puffy and you can see streaks on her cheeks. Glaz and Cloak and Riordan, you recognize the dwarf as one of the pleasure workers here, and Riordan, he's also a member of the faithful.
I walk out.
Okay.
So Riordan's going down, is he?
You heading down the stairs? Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. You just walk past him, just out of the bar, or?
Yep. Out of the bar.
Yeah.
Yep. He follows the Raven on out onto the street.
Oh wait, what?
Riordan, I believe.
I thought. Are you? Oh, I'm sorry. I was confused. I thought you were going up to Kashia, Riordan. Or you go out the bar?
Nope. I am walking right past her and
Right past him.
Oh, Rowan will go to Kashia then.
I don't know if he knows which raven to follow that you asked to.
Glaz now very confused as he goes running after Riordan, trying to keep him out of trouble.
I guess I'll watch these
Don't
two.
think he understood how that was supposed to work. I will go explain it to him. And Riordan runs off. Glaz runs up to Riordan.
All right. Show of hands. Who's going outside? Glaz,
yes.
Riordan is going outside. Anybody else? No. Going once, twice. Glaz is outside. What's everybody else doing? Cloak? Oh, Tilly, you going outside?
Yeah, I don't want him to ruin or run him to harm my raven, so I'm definitely gonna.
Oh, okay. All right. Tilly's going outside. Rowan and Cloak, where are you guys headed?
Going to Kashia.
Kashia.
Yeah. Since everyone ran outside and left her, he was like,
Well, I guess I make sure you find your way. So
I love how aggressive Cloak is. Right.
Cloak and Rowan get along so well.
Good.
All right, so the two of you head down the stairs with Puff Puff sort of trailing behind. You can hear her long toenails click-clacking on the steps as she follows. Clearly, she wants to be going down the stairs faster, but you guys are in the way, so she's doing that dog thing where she's just getting too close to the back of your legs. Yeah.
Just the tapping in place.
Why don't you just teleport down there?
She kind of looks at you and goes, and then just kind of gives a pointed look at the common room full of people.
Oh yeah, I forgot about them.
All right, Rowan. Yeah. So again, it looks like this dog seems to understand when spoken to, and communicates
be
back
talking in
to the best
Sylvan.
of her ability.
I'd be talking in Sylvan.
That's fine.
So
if you don't,
I know Sylvan.
do you speak Sylvan?
Yeah, because I know 5 languages.
Excellent.
So you understood what I said.
Yeah. So if you speak Sylvan, you understood what Cloak said. All right. So you guys head down the stairs and head over to the booth. It's the one that's closest to the door. So Riordan did in fact have to go right past her to get out. And it looked so when Riordan sort of went past with Tilly clanking down the stairs in her plate armor and Cloak sort of hemming and hawing after them. Kashia and the dwarf in the booth do kind of look over. The dwarf has kind of a grim look on his face, and Kashia just looks she looks hurt and drained and just kind of glances at Riordan and then pointedly turns away. So you guys head up, and it looks like they're sort of recovered from whatever that is and starting to settle back in on their table. As you walk up, they both sort of look over at you, and Kashia manages kind of a weak, fake smile.
May I have a seat?
I suppose. So she's already pushed way into the back, so there's plenty of room for you to sit down.
She'll just come and sit next to her.
This is Feltrow, and he nods at you and sort of gives Cloak a look of recognition. You've run into each other before, so
I just nod.
Mm-hmm. Is there something we can help you with?
I'm sorry for that back there.
Feltrow looks, kind of shoots a half angry, half sympathetic look to Kashia, and she just kind of brushes it away, and she says, I suppose I allowed myself to hope for something better. But good news isn't something we're coming across often lately. And Feltrow sort of nods.
If it's any consolation, we're attempting to convince him, though it seems that he's going along with us at the moment just for the hope of more of another high.
Well, if you can get him out of the room for something other than binge drinking and finding someone else to trick into his bed, then I'll call it a victory. If you're going to be out and about in the city, he won't care right now, I suppose. But I've had some of our people checking up on the others who haven't been showing up to services, she says kind of delicately. Maybe because she doesn't know quite how much Rowan understands about their situation. And everyone is at least accounted for except for one. His name is Phelan, and no one's seen or heard from him for over a week now. I'm starting to get very worried.
I will keep my ears to the ground.
I'd appreciate it.
And I am sorry for your loss. I'm not sure if you knew Ladislav, but...
She shakes her head and she says, No, I didn't know him personally, but I didn't have to.
Things are dire out there. Tilly and I, we crossed through the Blood Kingdom to arrive here. Oh, through the war with the Blood Kingdom, to be precise. And I don't believe he is dead. Vampires don't often easily stay dead. He was in such a state. And Riordan was the only concern he had left. So under the thrall of a new matron he was.
Well, it probably wasn't a new matron. It was probably the one who made him.
But he struggled to hold on to his sanity and struggled to hold on to his faith in Mirena. And I believe he's not the only one.
She smiles at that, and it's probably the first genuine smile you've seen since the first time she sat down with Cloak and Glaz, and she sort of reaches out and puts her hand on your sort of gnarled bird claw, and she says, "Well, I suppose I'll cling to hope a little while longer. Thank you." Cloak, did you have anything?
Yeah. Brian will put her hand over hers and sort of give it a gentle squeeze.
Okay. Cloak, did you have anything you wanted to do or say, or just kind of keep an eye?
He was just he's normally keeping an eye out just because. And he'd be like, "So where does this Phelan live then?"
I'm sorry. What about Phelan?
Where does he live?
Oh, well, he's a member. He's a member of the Alchemist Brotherhood. So I believe he lives in the Collegium district.
I mean, I live in that district.
We haven't sent anyone to the Brotherhood. They're very insular and somewhat prickly. So,
so I'll go check on him.
If you feel like you you might be able to match them, then perhaps you could see if he's there.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
You know, I'm not a religious person, but my understanding of it is that even in the hardest times, that's when whatever deity's faith is testing you. So this might be your trial, I guess. And if Riordan's really meant to be your chosen one, I would, he does the quotations. I think your goddess would find a way to bring him back if that were the case. But I don't know.
Well, are you aware of the difference between a priest and a cleric? You said you're not religious, so I wouldn't be surprised if you don't.
I mean, I don't even know. I thought they were about the same thing.
Okay, so she kind of takes your sort of stunned bear there, and you know, clerics aren't really very prevalent in Niemheim. You tend to go more the warlock route. So she just sort of nods knowingly, and she says, "A priest is someone who is learned in a faith's philosophies and teachings, someone who knows their God's will, who studies the word and scriptures and sometimes even prophecies, or the rare direct visitation, perhaps from a messenger from that being, and is able to minister that to the flock, to the faithful, to provide guidance. A cleric is so much more. A cleric might not have ever read a single word of a god's scripture, and yet the power flows through them all the same. A cleric is a living conduit to the divine, whether they wish to be or not."
You could say we are God touched.
Yes. And I don't know if Riordan is a chosen one, beyond simply being a channel for the divinity that is the Red Maiden. She kind of lowers her voice, a divinity that is the Red Maiden. But he was our cleric. He was more than a friend. He was a symbol that the power of our goddess was with us. We need him very much. And if something did happen to Phelan, I think we need him more than ever. I don't know anything about a chosen one or a prophecy. And she kind of gives Rowan a little bit of an apologetic smile. But he was the cornerstone of our faith here.
Well, it seems that we have some work to do, then.
Perhaps so. All right, so we're going to flash out to the front real quick. Sorry, Moth.
Okay.
See what the other guys are up to. All right, Riordan, you head out into the street. Blessedly, the sun is just about down, so it's dipping behind the rooftops to the west. That gives you a little bit of a reprieve. And your eyes really haven't seen a whole hell of a lot of sun recently, so it kind of, even that dull setting sun red radiance stabs at you, and you take to the shadows cast by the buildings on the west side. So where are you headed? What are you doing?
I guess as Glass comes out, I'm like, so where are we going then?
I don't think you quite understand. I don't think you quite understood exactly how the spell works. See, what happens is we talk to the bird, we give the bird the message message finds it, and they bring it back to us. We don't have to go running after it right now, unless you want to. Would you like some exercise?
Somewhere rather than the
exercise.
Somewhere other than the fuck house is good. Good God, what's wrong with me? Why don't we just go to the library? You love the library.
Are you pulling my leg?
No, let's go.
Are you just going to poke and make fun of me? Are you going to poke and make fun of my friends?
I'll admit that, yes, I probably will do that while we're there.
But I'll go. Will it make you feel a little better?
Maybe, yes.
Okay, let's go to the library then. I have this wonderful new thing I can show you. It's a very good treatise on old Vril technology. It is fascinating. It is 556 pages of Vril text that I can translate to you as we sit there and do it. I have a good friend who will come and sit with us as well.
I look over my shoulder to where I can see like Kashia still sitting in the tavern. I'm like, right, fine, yes, sounds great. Let's get out of here.
Tilly,
Tilly
so yeah, Tilly, you're out there with them, right?
Yeah, I feel like Tilly a little bit behind is kind of like, wait, okay. I just wanted to know that you weren't following my raven. I just wanted to make sure of that. I don't know where you're going, but I can't leave Rowan. I just wanted to make sure though, because you were on the hustle.
We will be at the library, so let Cloak know. He will know where to find us. Tell him I have got the treatise on the Vril technology. He'll know right where it is.
Treatise on the technology.
Back inside real quick, Cloak kind of perks up in the middle of the conversation and looks around as a chill creeps down his spine. Something is very wrong.
Tilly goes in to find Rowan again. So.
Okay. The two of you head off toward the Collegium District, I believe, then, Riordan and Glaz. You head back in to find Rowan and Cloak seated at the first booth with Kashia and that dwarf. So inside, Cloak was there. Yeah, they're kind of in mid-conversation, but it looks like they're winding down. Yeah. Okay,
then Tilly just whispers to Cloak, they said something about a library and trilogy of some technology. You would know where to find them there.
Oh no, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Okay.
That's it. It's fine. I'll get you to the library and I'll give you directions from there. They're actually very helpful there. But well, hold on 1 second. So I was like, well, we gotta get going. But and he kind of like leans in a little bit to Kashia. Is that her name?
Kashia.
Kashia, okay. He leans a little bit into Kashia and he said, you have a holy symbol?
She stops and says, yes. Do you need one?
Yeah.
All right, so she reaches into her, she probably doesn't keep it in her bodice, actually. She reaches into a pocket that's kind of hidden in her dress, in the skirt, and removes it, and it's kind of concealed in her palm. You can just see the edges of it, and she reaches out and takes your hand in both of hers, and she looks at you in the eyes kind of gleaming through your black dragon scale mask, and she says, thank you for anything you can do for him. You'll all appreciate it very much. And as she's doing that, she slips a polished wooden disc into your hand.
Yeah, and then in her hand, I slip a platinum piece. And I was like, I think that's and then
she kind of blinks in surprise and closes her fingers around it and smiles somewhat broadly.
And then he takes a disc and puts it in like one of his pouches under his cloak. And he's like, well, let's get going.
No problem.
And Rowan will just give her hand another squeeze and sort of nod. I swear on Wotan's eye that we will try to find this Fowlin. And we will bring Riordan back from the brink if we can.
She smiles again, kind of squeezes your hand back and says, I will pray for your success.
To any gods that will hear.
Or devils.
To the one that matters most. When you say that, the dwarf kind of shoots a look at you, and his features kind of twist in disgust.
It's a joke. Calm down.
It's not a very good one.
I'm not.
Right,
I
so
don't
you guys
hit out of the park every time.
So you can slip out and head wherever it is you guys want to go.
Oh, one last question, Kashia.
Yes.
Did Riordan often have premonitions?
I can't remember a single time that Riordan spoke of having a premonition. I do remember he mentioned one of his companions who recently left after their last adventure. She had dreams that seemed to portend the future.
Interesting. He's never mentioned a squirrel in his dreams, has he?
She kind of like chuckles in spite of herself. No, I don't think so.
Okay. Thank you anyway.
Of course. So she looks a little bit broken out of her funk, and she goes back to talking with the dwarf.
Okay.
As we're leaving and like heading out the door, I was like, that literally that vision was like drug induced. I'm being serious. Like he smoked a drug known to be like put you in a waking dream.
Oh, I know, but it's being drug induced doesn't really have much bearing on what it was.
I'm not saying it does or it doesn't, but that's the only reason he would have had something like that. Kari was another cleric. She's the one that had dreams and stuff like that. And she was always like, I need to go on the hunt, and I need to hunt something, and blah, 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 and then get beat up by King. But she said she dreamt of like a giant monster in the weird shadow realm. I can't remember it. Like, I tuned out a lot when she started talking.
Font of information is cloak.
Okay.
All right.
Somewhere Kari's eyes fucking scowl for no reason.
Scowl, yeah. All right, so you guys slip out of the silk scabbard and head wherever it is you wish to go. Are you heading to catch up with them at the library? Because that's what the message that Tilly passed into you.
Yeah.
Should we go and try to see about this fouling?
I was going to go check on that. I was going to get you guys to the library so you can help maybe research or figure out or help Glaz. But if you want to come, okay. I mean, that's fine, but...
Well, if you need a bit of muscle, then Tilly here is, well...
I don't know.
I'll let her flex for you.
Oh. You often fight in the library? I don't know. Not at all.
More than you'd expect.
I don't mind. I would love some food there. If you want to go and reserve a room at whatever spot you guys were at. And then we can meet you at the library later.
I mean, we rented a house.
Oh, I thought it was like a...
No, it's like, okay, so there's like a small, quaint little home, and then there's like a like 2-bedroom, like little shack kind of thing that me and Glaz stay at. We don't really have, we rent that out, and it's like kind of our own little area. There's not really anywhere in the Collegium district. There's something hold on, let me look at my memory. That I have to go through.
Yeah, there's really not an inn there. That's why we ended up at Miss Kettle Whistle's, because the Hedgehog is not an inn. It's just a tavern.
Right.
I mean, there's the Seven Bells Tavern. I think that might be an inn. I'm not exactly sure. The Wheat Sheaf, but that's kind of shady, and I don't think you guys want to go there. Looking...
There's a few in the Docks District.
Yeah, the Docks
District
is the next closest.
I'm trying to see. The Black and Fish Tavern was an inn.
Yeah, that's what I'm eating.
The Dancing Bear is an inn.
Oh, okay. Well, you guys might want to stay at the Dancing Bear. That's at the docks.
Roland, if you want to go with them to the library, I don't mind going to the Dancing Bear and setting us up with a room. It is getting dark.
That would be fantastic if you could. I will help Mr. Cloak here to try and get a lead on Riordan's friend.
Okay.
Sure. Which way is the Dancing Bear? Back by the dock, she said?
Yeah, it's
69 on the map.
yeah.
Nice.
I kind of give directions the best way I can as we get to the Collegium District, because we had to make our way over there, and then kind of like point in a direction where it will be at and like what you would see to get there.
Sure. Yep, no problem. So you guys will probably split up at about the. You'll head into the Collegium District, and then Tilly, you'll split off and head up toward the west. About the time they're heading to the Arcane. No, you guys are going to the Collegium, to the library. About the time they're ready to turn off into that giant courtyard that makes up the Arcane Collegium, you split off the other way and head up into the Docks District, and you can find the Dancing Bear Tavern without any trouble.
All right. No problem. Head right in and gonna approach the innkeep or the barkeep.
You head straight in, and the very first thing that your eyes snap to is a stage in the middle of the common room, and laying on it and snoring loudly is a friggin' bear. Big, shaggy, brownish grizzly bear, like laying with its paws flopped and splayed and giant bear nostrils just...
Are there going to be anybody else here, like behind the
bar? Oh yeah, there's patrons. They're talking like there's regular tavern common room happening. People are drinking, people are laughing, people are having dinner. Barmaids are running this way and that. You see people heading up to their rooms for the evening, and it looks like you see a bunch of kind of freshly cracked bones scattered around the stage where the bear is. And you can kind of see that the fur around its mouth is kind of wet and matted.
Would I notice that the bear is chained at all or anything, or is it freely?
So the bear does not appear to be chained, but there is almost like the barest suggestion of a muzzle in leather straps kind of around its snout. You're not sure if it's actually a muzzle, though. So it looks like it was able to eat just fine. Like maybe more like a harness or some type.
All right, skirting the outside wall of the tavern room, she's going to approach the bar. Considering potentially she's had a couple of ales and doesn't really want to get herself in a situation with the bear.
Very well. Yeah, you can avoid the bear, and a couple of patrons kind of notice you doing that and just sort of chuckle and go back to whatever they're doing. Yeah, you head up to the bar, and I assume you want to order some food.
Yes, I believe I will order maybe like a bit of cooked meat and maybe a potato or two for me, but I want to be able to take some raw meat back to Rowan at the library whenever I head back out after reserving the room.
Okay. Yep, no problem. You can take care of that easily.
And book a room for her and I, or him, or her, or whomever this is.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep, very good.
Yes.
Yeah, the bartender is a him.
Okay.
I will say.
Can I also ask about the bear? I've never seen anything like this anywhere.
Oh, sure. What, Masha? Oh, she's a sweetheart, isn't she? You missed the show earlier. She's had her dinner now, and about an entire cask of mead. So she'll be sleeping it off a bit, but I'm sure there'll be another show tomorrow.
So she's a drinking bear.
Oh, drinking, dancing, eating, fighting. She's also our security. She's the bouncer. Things get too rowdy. She'll let you know about it. And well, it's probably a good idea to calm it down at that point. And he just sort of waggles his bushy eyebrows at you.
That's all right. She'll throw in a little bit of an extra tip for some meat and ale for the bear the next time it's awake, in hopes of getting in good spirits, and take her raw meat and packaged meal back.
Sure, no problem. So you arrange for the room, and you get your information and your victuals, and you head back out. No problem. And so you're going to meet them at the library? Was that the plan?
Yeah, since it's pretty much the same route there and back. If that's
okay. So, library cadre, you guys arrive, and we're just gonna kind of gloss over the fact that Glaz is boring the absolute shit out of Riordan with a highly technical magical treatise on Vril technology from from some of his homeland.
I'm sure Riordan is also like embarrassing me and poking at me and telling me how nerdy my stuff is and how the Breck is wrong because he knows that gets under my skin.
Sure. And then Cloak, that's about the time that you arrive. If you have anything specific you want to talk about, you may.
Quick question. So looking at the Brotherhood of Alchemists, would I have done in these past 2 months any odd jobs where I would go out and collect different assortment of plant material or materials?
So
since I did do work for the Collegium.
Squall. Yes, what?
Remember,
what?
We if he mentions the alchemist, he goes, "Oh, well, we could just talk to Model. He's an apprentice alchemist. Remember, our kobold friend. He smells a lot all the time.
No,
He's
we
the
never
one who
went to
sent
the
us
library.
painting man.
So we're not there right now.
Oh, never mind. I thought,
yeah.
But so Loken, remember, we have a little kobold friend named Model who's an apprentice alchemist.
I will point out that the Bonded Brotherhood of Alchemists is actually a separate organization from the Collegium, but it's possible that Model does have some connections with them because he is an alchemist. So, sorry, what were you doing, Cloak?
I was asking, what would I have done any sort of odd jobs?
Right. Yeah. I'd say here or there you might have been engaged to acquire a particular reagent for them a time or two. Because you've been doing odd jobs in the couple of months since the incident in Castle Shadowcrag. So sure.
I would walk up, while walking over there, I would look at Rowan and I was like, I kind of know these guys, but I'm not really like super tight with them. So don't like snip your beak at them or piss them off because they'll get upset and kick us out and not talk to us.
Oh, okay. I will temper myself.
You get more flies with honey than vinegar.
You get more flies with raw meat, actually. Or corpses.
Well, let's not murder anyone.
Oh, I didn't realize you were being metaphorical.
Yeah.
I see. Okay. So be nice. I will.
I would say smile, but I don't think that's possible for you.
She just sort of opens her beak slightly, like.
No, just no.
Sorry, one correction. It's the Chartered Brotherhood of Alchemists, not Bonded. My bad.
Yeah. I have them on.
So,
I knew
Tilly,
where they're at.
Tilly, you arrive at the library while all of this is happening. Riordan at this point is just like flopped back in a chair with his eyes just staring up at the vaulted ceiling of the library, just his head lolled back, and he's just like slowly swiveling his chair kind of back and forth while Glaz drones.
She'll walk straight up to Rowan, pass her a little bit of the raw meat, continue to still have grease on her mouth from eating her quick sandwich.
Oh no, I'm with Cloak. We're not there.
Oh, I thought you were in there with. Okay, sorry. I'm sorry.
Right. So
you can go to pass it to.
I thought you had made
me,
it, but not
realize,
directly. No.
I realize I'm not there.
she'll ask Glaz, is he alright, or is he falling back asleep again?
He says this is his thinking position.
Looks like my 5 points in position. That's what that looks like right there. Have you figured out any more information, though? And have Cloak and Rowan made it back yet?
No, I have not seen them yet. I was just trying to keep Riordan distracted so he didn't chase your bird, and to maybe make him, I don't know, not be a drunk puddle back at the silk scabbard.
I'm far worse now, I'm sober.
We can go to the hedgehog. Of course, I've still got another 226 pages that I can continue on the treatise.
Oh, well, yeah, hedgehog sounds good. Now you mention that. Let's go there instead. Or any tavern, really. Or indeed anywhere aside from here. Now I've kind of felt like I've done it, you know? Got the whole feel of the sea.
You got your fill of nerd today?
Oh, far too much. I mean, it was delightful. Had so much fun.
Your face looks like it's in a lot of pain.
All right, so as you guys are talking about that, one of the wizard's apprentices approaches, and Glaz, it's the girl who passed you the note from Model at the entrance of the library the last time you guys were here, and she says, "Oh, if you're done with that, I'll take it for you if you don't mind. I have a few things I want to check before it gets put away."
Oh, of course. Here you are.
Thanks.
Do you are you interested in it?
Oh, no, go ahead.
Are you interested in Vril technology? I actually went on a Unkashelian dig site back when I was studying in Bimia. Have I told you that I am a scholar from Bimia? Of course.
I knew you were from Bemia, and I'd heard that you were on some dig sites. Maybe we could talk about it sometime. I'm very interested in Vril artifacts.
That would be wonderful. Perhaps, we are going to the Hedgehog. If you want to come and join us there later, that would be great. Or I am often there or here.
Sure. I'll find you there maybe sometime. It sounds like you guys are busy. I'll leave you to it for now. And she kind of takes the book and clutches it and kind of hefts it a little since it's a gigantic tome.
Yeah. Would you like to help you? Can I carry that for you? And he's now doing his worst job of flirting ever.
Oh, good lord.
I was wondering where that was going.
Riordan, you are not sure that you would ever see something like this, but yeah, you're seeing it. It's playing out in front of you.
Oh.
It's nerds flirting. It's your dream. It's what all you could have possibly dreamed of.
This is the best.
All right, so I assume at some point you'll tear yourself away from the library and drag Riordan off to the Hedgehog, or he'll drag you away.
Yes, and Glaz completely forgot to get her name. Like, I'm playing that on purpose, so he gets to stumble around that.
I figured. All right, so I believe with our cadre split, 2 of them headed to the alchemists, and 3 headed to go and get drunk, I suppose. That is where we will pick up next week.
Amazing.
That got heavy for a while.
Yeah. That was disastrous on so many levels.
I love
Well,
it.
just like, how are we going to convince Riordan? Nothing is convincing him.
Mind
That's why
control
Clip didn't
and
try.
I guess is the way we're
At
going to do
least
it.
I didn't have to get the raven titties out, so.
Yeah, there you go.
Not yet. Oh boy.
Not
well,
yet.
There's always next time.
Let's wait until next week, folks. Yeah, that is all your time for tonight. If you guys enjoyed tonight's episode of our Tree Burns, if you did, let us know in chat. If you haven't followed the show, hit the follow button and join us. And of course, definitely check out Kobold Press's World of Midgard on koboldpress.com. It's really awesome. And yeah, hopefully you guys have seen some of the darkness that comes with the World of Midgard tonight. But let's go around the cast and the crew. Did we enjoy ourselves? Where can we find you guys online? Oh, and before I forget, Luke, guys in chat, exclamation point loot in chat to win a set of tabletop loot dice. But Dan, Dylan, masterfully done as always. Dan, how was that tonight, my friend?
Thank you. Oh man, yeah. So I wasn't sure how that was going to go down. I knew that Riordan was in a dark place, and it got nasty there for a bit. So it's interesting that they managed to crack him out of his shell, and we'll see what happens when the spell wears off. So I had a lot of fun tonight seeing where this would go. Yeah, there's a number of different directions we could take off to. So now that you guys are on a path, this will get interesting fast.
Definitely. Where can we find you online, Dan?
Oh, right. So I'm mostly on Twitter these days at Dan_Dylan_1. Always talking D&D, occasionally throwing out little bits of monster and other design stuff that crops up into my head out there. Give me a follow, come talk D&D, ask about Midgard. I'd love to answer any questions anybody has. I'm also on Facebook. I'm a moderator on one of the most gigundous Facebook D&D fan groups. It's called Dungeons and Dragons 5th Edition, the one with 130,000 people. Come join us there. There's a lot of nerds talking a lot of nerdy stuff.
Fantastic stuff. Awesome. Great. Tool School, how was that tonight?
Hey, Glaz got to have fun. Got to have a little serious time with Riordan, and then which me, I mean, I love that stuff. And then also I got to play up Glaz being a big old nerdy dorky dude. So hey, it's like my two favorite things all in one. You can find me all over the internet as Tall Squall. If you go to my Twitter page at Tall Squall, you will find my pinned tweet, which is finally updated with the links of all the fun stuff. And then I will be at PAX U in a couple weeks, so hope to see folks there as well.
True.
Great
I will
stuff.
also be at PAX Unplugged. So if anybody's there, track us down. We'll talk about stuff.
I wish I was at PAX Unplugged. Someone
Me
can just
too.
bring it. If you
I was gonna say you went to PAX Oz. You were just at a PAX.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I wasn't
can't get
at
enough
PAX.
PAX.
PAX addicted. Yeah, that's it.
Right? Yeah.
If someone can bring me on a little tablet and put a little bow tie or a party hat on it, then I'll be able to join you
Oh.
via the magic of internet.
It is.
Yes, great stuff. Well, Scarlet Moth, great segue.
Hello, I am Scarlet Moth. You can find me at that Scarlet Moth on Twitter, where I'm over there most of the time. Or you can find me at Scarlet Moth on most other social media. I am an artist, cosplayer, and D&D lover. I am on a game on Monday mornings, American time. I think it's very early, but that's over on Almighty Tales Twitch channel, where a group of all female Australian players and a dungeon master going through Lost Mines of Vandelver. And I'm not used to playing level 1 characters, so it's a bit of a throwback for me. Also, I'm starting to think that I'm really loving Rowan. She's definitely not the kind of character I thought she'd be, but I'm very happy with it. I'm starting to think maybe I might have to make a cosplay of her.
She's got a hard edge on her that was a little bit unexpected, but makes a lot of sense, and I'm really digging it.
Yeah.
I love both of our new characters quite a bit.
I will protect Tilly with my life. She's good and precious.
Awesome.
And
Good
I'm
stuff.
just interested to see where all these character dynamics go.
Yes.
Yeah, me too. Well, I had an instrumental with Cloak today. McCloak, and how was that?
Oh yeah, that was super fun. I thought it was really great today because I got to play Cloak how he was supposed to be played. Very much like everyone's like, bleeding heart, like let's do this, and he just sat back and let people talk because he knew it wasn't working, and he knows.
what am I doing?
Wow. He knows Riordan.
Mike with the worst possible timing. God damn it,
I
Mike.
know.
Thanks for
God,
that.
fucking Mike.
Mike, fucking rating my channel.
But I love it when it's role play heavy. I love the role play and all that, and everyone's doing a fantastic job. So kudos to all of you guys. So round of applause just from me. But yeah, I'm McCloakin. You might recognize me from such films as Devil in the Details and Honey and and vinegar. That was the two things I could only think of. My brain is very tired right now. But yeah, I do a show called Chosen. I run that on my show at mixer.com/storyquest. Currently, we're not playing tomorrow because I have a work thing I had to be up early for, and I won't have the brain capacity to TM later that night. But I may be playing some Fallout 76 on stream, so if you guys want to come hang out and talk to me, I'll do that. I have a roleplay character for that, but with the hot mic, we really haven't been doing that, so I'm very interested in to see how that goes. But it's a super fun game, and I love it. And there might be Arc RP in the future on channels. I don't know which ones yet. But yeah, that's me, and I love everyone.
Fantastic stuff. And last but not least, then, Simply Jackson.
Hi, my name is Simply Jackson, or Simply Jackson. You can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/simply_JXN, or my Twitter, just a spell below, no underscore. I play Tilly, the headstrong, honor-driven, family-bound dwarf who is... I don't know. I think she's a little heartbroken by some of the comments that Riordan made about her family, but a few pints of ale and maybe a few hours of ignoring him for a little while might cure it. I don't know. But it's been really fun. I'm sorry for being a little bit fog-brained tonight. I'm fighting a sinus infection and I'm on medication, so I'm a little like, hey. But always a lot of fun. I'm enjoying the character development, and I'm really enjoying the relationships that are building between each character for this show. Awesome. And I'm excited to see where we go. So thank you.
Definitely. That's my input. It was really fun, and I want to thank everyone here in the cast to give me the opportunity to play Riordan as something a little more than just like. I mean, he's quite jokey, but he had that sort of dark edge side to him tonight, which I really enjoyed playing. And it is really tough when you're consider myself a nice or polite person to try and purposely find things to say to hurt people using words in character. It's difficult for me, but it was a fun opportunity to get to
that role play was amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
It was great. You really well portrayed the fact that he was lashing out with his own pain. It was great. I liked it a lot.
Awesome. Glad to hear that. Yeah, I had a lot of fun of it. I'm excited to see his journey. Really interested in Riordan and where he goes, and with his friends and his or people who just happen to be with him at the time. Yeah, I'm excited for the rest of the season.
His new drug dealers.
His new drug dealers. I'm looking forward to meeting those. His old drug dealers. Yeah,
underwear dealers.
Yeah. He's got a lot of very tough conversations ahead of him. Which I'm less looking forward to having to play those scenes where he has to apologize for all the terrible things he's done. But thank you guys for that. Let's pick the winner. Deutsch, congratulations, you won a set of tabletop look dice. I'll be in touch for that. And aside from that, I'm back tomorrow at 1 o'clock Eastern for Call of Cthulhu, Masks of Nyarlathotep, then Warhammer at 4, Star Trek at 7. It's all good shit. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. But until next time, try not to roll too many net ones. We want to be there laughing when you do. Good night, everybody. Bye.
Good night, everyone. Thanks for joining us.
Drugs.
Don't do drugs.